A very positive Thursday afternoon right across the board. It is the NASDAQ. It is tech specifically leading the way here to the upside to the tune of 1.25%, 1.28 there. You can see for the NASDAQ currently about 0.5% for the Dow, the S&P 0.94. It was the Dow, remember, at one point this morning was 0.5% lower. So we've reversed that and now we're up a full percent from the lows essentially. Positive about 0.5% on the day. Big move for crude there, 3.7 now to the upside. Was also red when I first sat down this morning. So was Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those continue to kind of chop around, not really doing a heck of a lot. That is the way the board is looking right now. That is the S&P 500 for you. Overall, very green. Big change from last we spoke. 1.01 for the S&P currently. NTAP earnings name. Inside of the tech group here standing out, almost 9% to the upside. NVIDIA, yeah, we'll talk about this Microsoft story here a little bit more. 5% right now for NVIDIA shares to the upside right at day highs. Microsoft also gaining on that. ON, 4.6 to the upside for ON Semiconductor. Some of the clean energy names also moving. Enphase, SED, GS up for solar on here. There it is, 2.75. You can see how small 2.75 is compared to full 5%. QCOM's up. MPWR, AVGO to come, down 1.4. Some of the travel names still holding on to gains like they were this morning. CCL, RCL, NCLH, all positive on the day. Expedia, Marriott, Booking.com, to name a few. There's AAP, another 5.5% on top of what happened yesterday to the downside for Advanced Auto Parts. Banks still leading as far as the group is concerned. Industrials are here. Yeah, big move for energy, as I was mentioning there. Crude oil now almost 4% to the upside. SLB, BKR, DVN, Halliburton, all among the leaders. 5 to 6.5% in positive territory. What a difference a few hours makes. If you're wondering about DG here, yeah, their earnings weren't good. Dollar General downside, DLTR close behind, 3% in the red as well, off of a forecast specifically that pointed to maybe some more weakness coming on the retail side of things. Hope your afternoon is going well. Let's get into a pretty exciting move here as far as NVIDIA and Microsoft are concerned. Coming off this note regarding the two, that they're going to team up with CoreWeave. So CoreWeave is a SaaS company. I was just reading that NVIDIA invested over $100 million in. So it's actually, it is NVIDIA, but it's through this CoreWeave company, which is a SaaS company for further AI dealings, it looks like. So a nice move here, 5+ now for NVIDIA. A bit of a pullback back towards this 398 area. Guys, Microsoft and NVIDIA keeping on the AI train here.
With that NVIDIA move, because quite frankly, I should have left it alone at the very first breakout trade, because I just lost money on that. Trying to chase it multiple times on the break of the high of the day. It kind of felt like you'd go to 400 on that move. You broke 398, looked like it was good. It tried to get through 399. Just come to my chart for a second, because it was a bit of a mess. Like I got along off the 398 break and went to 99. And then I went for the 399 break, and then that was an instant 40-cent hit. Took more shares on the breakout than I did on the dip buys. Had the dip again, that worked to 399, and then just got back in, reloaded at 98.5, and then 98 even. That ended up breaking, and it's still kind of going sideways. I feel like this should be testing 400 on a day like today when the market's this strong, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I have some holdover positions from earlier, but right now my eyes are sort of set on NVIDIA. Is it going to get to 400? 400 would have been the area to reject. Maybe 399.50 is close enough. I just not convinced on it yet. Oh, by the way, Tesla's breaking high of the day. Apple is on the march back to 180. I don't know if you guys were watching, but Apple was at 180 for a little bit and could head back there again. So rinse and repeat. I think it's a short and then a reversal. That's what was earlier happening. I was actually betting more on the reversal, so I didn't really do that well on the short trade for Apple, because I wanted the break of 180. I was willing to take that for more than I was willing to short it.
Yeah, we made everything back on Apple, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But right now it's Microsoft and NVIDIA. So a little bit late to the party, obviously, as it broke through. It got close enough. We went long at 80, 398.80. Then we averaged it back at 398.20, and we got some out at 399. So that was a good trade. But then it broke 398. We got out, and now I'm starting to build the short against 400. it's pretty simple. Like if we don't take 400, I want to be short this name, and I'm not going to like sit here and worry about $1 or $2 or anything like that. Hopefully, you know, we can get short now and then let it drop back in. As the market continues to take out new highs, like right now, like 1.3%. We still have bears over here, by the way, beside us.
But, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, 14,500 coming into play. So I feel like that's all the way up here. And if we can get to that, then yeah, we are, you know, getting ready to bust out again here on NVIDIA and on the market. This is the last recent high. We got as high as 14,571 right there. So this is coming into play again. We do have Frank Caberna coming up. He's probably going to talk all about some of the JOLTS numbers and some of these recent economic data points we've gotten. And then we do have the quarter point hike coming, hopefully, for the Fed. We'll definitely check that out as we go. But so far, so good here. Apple, we just got the reload right at 180 again. My chart for this has been absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if you guys have noticed, or I put out some tweets there today, but we paid bills with these fills. Like all these shorts. Look at this. For 1 hour, we just kept on. It was like a printing press around here. We just kept on taking a little bit of cash, taking a little bit of cash, and then eventually, boom, to the downside there, getting a little bit of love back down near 179.50. So we shorted again. We're short Apple. Watch out for 180. If it breaks, it's quite simple what the plan is here. You get out on a 180 break. So let's wait to see if that does happen.
It's true.
Here goes Apple.
All right, Salesforce on the board there from this morning. It ends up being a bit of a tricky trade. I mean, it was so volatile. I was actually watching this at the open this morning. So volatile, not a lot of liquidity. Initial move was down. Gets everyone out around that 206 and then just kind of grinding up here.
Yeah, the look on them is they're carrying a lot of capital costs, and that's going to hurt them in the long run, or so say the analysts. We also didn't hear much with respect to concrete orders going forward. With respect to their use of AI, he mentioned that a lot in the interview with Kramer. I'm talking about Ben Benioff, the CEO of Sierra.
Yeah, Einstein. Get ready for Einstein, guys, attached to Slack possibly. But I was just reading through this again. There was, there was a couple of price target increases on this and positive notes from analysts overall. So from the analyst point of view here, 2 or 3, Bernstein, Piper Sandler, Canaccord as well, mostly positive even with this move aftermarket downside.
With the move, okay, so just to get this out of the way, Apple gets them out in front of 90, gets them out in front of 80, gets them out in front of 70, and then see what happens. If 180 breaks, it breaks. I thought CRM was along at 200. Suffice to say that I didn't trade it today because it didn't get anywhere near 200. Everything was way too strong for that today. It was a big-time hold for the stock right at the open off 206, and then it's off to the races. It might even set up for a top break at 215. Crazier things have happened. This market seems to want 2% today. If we do get a 2% day, great. The 200 level was also the 50 period on the daily. It was absolutely gorgeous. Apple, if you see me looking up every 2 seconds, I'm reversing the Apple. I'm reversing Apple at 180 to go long. But look at this 215 setting up on the 15-minute chart for a possible break on CRM. It's not alone. There's a lot of things right now that are setting up for that. Like NVIDIA is going to be at 400 at the same time. Like, this is nonsense. You have so many things at the highs ready for breaks that there are scalp trades galore if you like scalping off the top, reversals, breakouts. If you don't enjoy it, then you don't like markets that move, quite frankly. I don't think I'd be taking this trade because there's way too much else happening. But I'm glad CRM went up. Still going to be out of the money in my long term because I think I'm at like a 220, 222 something is my, 221 something is my cost base. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day. We'll see what happens here with CRM. I don't want the breakout. I think it was not that bad of a quarter, but they didn't really blow it away the way that that NVIDIA did, and that's a lot of the reason why I think you had a bit of a downtrend early on in the pre-market, but the recovery was everywhere. Everything that was down, with the exception of Dollar Tree and Lucid, I want to say, everything else that was down on earnings got back to the upside today. Bless you.
Got that covered.
Oh, you got the mute? Nice.
No,
I never get the mute fast enough.
I hit the mic.
I never get it fast enough. It's like
muted there.
I got Sharif's old man hands when it comes to hitting.
Yeah. You guys are old. Okay, so we just So our average price on NVIDIA, like we put on a much bigger position right here at 399.45 or whatever it was. Where's my fill? 40s actually only. So now it's up to 400. So we break, we're out. I mean, here it goes, right up to 400 bucks. We were able to get something out there at O's, which was nice on that little bit of a dip buy. But here we go, NVIDIA looking to take it out, man. Again, huge high move here. It's too bad because we were already long, but that's okay. We're short at 399.15. This will be about $1 plus slippage break to the upside again. So let's wait to see what happens. We're here to take a shot on NVIDIA, and unfortunately, yeah, shots fired right now to the downside here is missing. So here we come. Maybe we do get a little bit of a pullback, and guess what's happening again?
Apple.
Uh-oh. We're doing it again. What's up to Brittany one more time? Because here it comes back, right back in again. And yeah, we did it again, guys. Apple just getting some more out at 90. Look, it's an amazing 8-cent trade, but this is what we've been doing, and you're just, like I said,
that's the trade.
This is the trade, and as long as it's the trade, then it's the trade. So we'll sit here and wait to see what does happen with all this. So yeah, so far so good. NVIDIA now pulling back nicely, so I got to get some bids out here because that was not expected. Oh, we missed. Did we get anything on that bid? No, we didn't. So too busy watching Apple and counting pennies instead of dollars here. Let's see if NVIDIA wants to pull back down. We just took a fill at 90 there, just releasing some pressure really on this trade. So hopefully we can get a little bit of a flush down on this name into the 70s again and take a fill down here. So let's go NVIDIA, putting some bids now back into the 50s. Here it is. We're making a lot on this now, baby. Let's go NVIDIA. Bring the pain to the south side, not north side, wow. South side there. We're just bidding 64. I saw me on the bid, but we did not have a fill. So hopefully that'll come back in a little bit right now. You know what? I'm going to take an 80 and cancel that 64. Okay, here we go. Let's go. Downside on NVIDIA.
Just watching some of these yields trying to bounce as well. Here is a quick look at the 10-year. Back to the upside. I mean, we came right down to support and bounced nicely today, trying to hold back above 3.6 on the 10-year. There is the 2-year as well. Not as strong, but trying to bounce. Frank Caberna coming up here at 2:45, about a half an hour. We'll get his take on what's to come tomorrow, because, oh yeah, it's non-farm payrolls day. Tomorrow morning at 8:30. Make sure you're with us. We'll bring that to you live as it happens. CrowdStrike, almost all the way back, if you can believe it. It was 8%, I feel like, is what we were talking about this morning. But, I mean, we were sitting here this morning, you and I, talking about the fact that, you know, there's not a lot of bad in this report. I mean, a little bit of question marks, but overall, the stock has been doing nothing but going straight up all day.
They beat on the top and bottom lines. The only glitch in the system was they were down about 20% quarter over quarter on recurring revenue, yearly recurring revenue. But the business model for cybersecurity, I love. You and I talk about this all the time. We're just getting into a more challenging environment.
Nice look overall. Going to be a huge wick on the weekly chart, guys.
CrowdStrike's ridiculous. By the way, that wick on NVIDIA, I got in when it retraced 399. I kind of wanted the backside of the trade, which I haven't been doing enough of. So I got into it. Apparently, it hit 340 a couple times. I swear, 400. I swear it didn't hit 400 on NVIDIA, but the chart did say it does. CrowdStrike, what else can you say? Even if it's down 1.7%, there's nobody in their right mind that would be upset with the price action in terms of strength today. You could almost argue that CrowdStrike is the strongest stock in the market today because it was down so much. But what this tells you is in an industry where everyone believes cybersecurity has lots of room to grow, there's a lot of money on the sidelines that wants a piece of this pie. And when they got an opportunity to get it today, they started buying it in droves and never stopped. It just never stopped. I don't see, I mean, 160, I suppose when you look at something like this, it's easy to say hindsight, you short 160, but trust me, it looked so strong and bullish at that moment. It felt like it was going to get to yesterday's high. And if you weren't going to be wrong till 162, it's hard to get it in at 159. So, I mean, if you fade it at your own risk at this point, I guess if it double taps it, maybe it's worth a shot, but wow, what a day. Sometimes you just got to tip your hat on this one. And it makes me feel like, earlier today I mentioned about Lululemon, get your stink bids in just in case of quadunks if you want to buy into something like that. I don't think you get those chances. The way that buying came into all these depressed names in the pre-market, they just got eaten up. So good on CrowdStrike, still expensive when you think about the earnings, but it doesn't matter here today. Maybe we do see a test at the high of the day and there's a trade, but we got other fish to fry. Apple is coming right back. You guys understand what's happening here for Apple. It was an hour here before. I still think it has a chance to run this top, and I'm looking for the reversal. I'm going long on the reverse. I actually did not just reload, which is kind of stupid. I thought I was on the offer. It turns out I was not, so we're gonna rinse and repeat as many times as this wants to go. So just keep on shorting that level. As I said, I got into NVIDIA here on that retrace. I missed getting out 398 there because it bounced just shy of it. But I want this to 400 the same way. I just waited until it got above and then back down below.
All right. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way with all this talk here. So CrowdStrike, if you guys remember, if you're here at 8:30 or 9 o'clock, I said do not sell this name, and at least look at it. If it takes out 135, might be something that you're concerned with, but we didn't do that. So nice little move back up to the upside. This does not surprise me. I'm a fan of this name, and I've been in the cybersecurity space for a while now. So I'm a fan of this, and I would just say, yeah. Stay with this name, stay with Palo Alto, and the strong survive, man. CrowdStrike, Palo Alto, good name. Zscaler, another one as well. So good day here on the daily chart for CrowdStrike, and more to come, I feel like. It's a nice move. We're almost back to green. This name could go red to green. Watch out for CrowdStrike here today. But, I'm in NVIDIA, AI, Apple, and SoFi. Like, I have way too much to worry about, but CrowdStrike, great trade on the day if you're able to pick up anything there. There's the bottom. This is why I don't trade the earnings calls most of the time. Comes into the pre-market lows and then just rips. So we really liked it. We were talking about staying long and strong on that name, and I hope you did. So congratulations to anybody there in CrowdStrike. My best outs for NVIDIA, though, were 50s. We got twice out right there. So these were good shorts, right? So that's about $1 twice on NVIDIA right there. So we made back everything that we lost, but now we're still in shares. We still actually have 40% of this trade left. So we got out of 60% there on the way down. Now we'll have to hold out because here comes 400. So we're going to pay attention to this as it's looming, and it's 400 on NVIDIA.
Lucid day lows here, absolutely getting crushed right now, almost 20%. We're at 19 right now. I was sitting here during lunchtime. It was 655 to 650. There was just layered bids that apparently finally got pulled and maybe are getting out of their trade right now. But heavy volume here, downside. Lucid, if you missed it this morning, we were talking about it in the pre-market. $3 billion going to be raised through an equity offering, 2/3 of which is going to be picked up by the Saudi PIF fund. Yeah, they own more of it now, Brendo, and the price per share that they bought at was $6.80. Funny enough, let's look at the chart. We opened up today at $6.82. That's the high, and we've been retracing back down since. So the market not really liking what it's seeing from Lucid and this announcement. Not a good trade so far for these Saudi investors, guys, for Lucid.
Frustrated about this one because, look, I had NEO at $7, but this morning I went and looked back and I was like, I liked Intel on the dip at 31 and I got in early. It bounced off 31. I'm an idiot. Lucid I liked for a dip at 650. It bounced off 650, goes to 670. You don't see any executions from me because that's how I roll apparently. So it bounced off 650, gave you your VWAP bounce, exactly what we're looking for. And then when it comes back to the key level, you can just play the break because it worked the first time for the long, and then it reverses short, and it's probably going to go to 6. Now, if there's size at 6, I guess I'm going to play that. I did get, and shout out to Renata in the chat because, quite frankly, I did miss NEO at 7 the first time, and it sucks because usually when I make a trade off of an even dollar level, it's like a gimmicky trade. So you're looking to play a lot out to VWAP and just catch the range, and maybe it extends further. Well, NEO extended a heck of a lot further than I would have anticipated. And like this would be the equivalent of like Apple off the 180 going down to 177 or 176. We don't think that's going to happen. Like I'm not trading it based on that happening. So I didn't think NEO was going to go to 760, and that's what ended up happening. And I don't think Lucid has any chance of doing that, so we're not really worried about it. But if it bounces off 6 on Lucid, I'll try to take 10 cents if that's the case. So sometimes you just got to be patient and wait for it, and take the trade that you set up to do early on in the day and not worry about what comes out in front of you. I understand like so much happened at key levels. It was hard not to be staring at the Apples of the world when they got there and the Teslas. because those are always going to be exciting. But there were a few, I want to call them layup levels, like that Lucid 650, holding first time, breaking second time. That's not that complicated. It's just a round number and you take the trade. If it gets there again, it's a $6, we'll take a shot at it. Otherwise, I say all that and then I'm going right back over to Apple, which just gave fills down to the 80s and is right back up to 98 for a reload, it looks like.
Yeah, we got all those fills down there. We got an 86, an 87, and all of that. So far, so good here with Apple and with that. So, oh, by the way, NVIDIA, look at this. We got a 50 fill, and then we got out at O's right there as Neil was talking. So it looks like it does want to take 4 bills right now. I'm not going to reload this. We've already done enough damage here waiting for this to go down. It doesn't look like it wants to anymore. So forget about it. Here comes 400. We'll get out and just, I have the order to go. So, you know, I was gonna say Jesus take the wheel, but NVIDIA take the wheel here, because if it does make the move to the downside, then we'll be in it. And if it takes out the top, then as long as my script order, which I'm just realizing isn't even in, breaks, then we have to get out right now. So watch out for an NVIDIA break. Yeah, okay, forgot to put my order in. Wow, that's good. All right, so now we're in there. So break of 400, and we will get out of NVIDIA. And again, man, Apple just keeps on, it's like the gift that keeps on giving over and over and over again here. And we've done this multiple times. And if you don't believe me, well, now do you? Look at all of these fills here on Apple. If I zoom back out, you'll be able to see, look at this. Cha-ching, 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 like, this is called ringing the damn register. So, you know, you don't get out of your seat when you see stuff like this happening. And then we came all the way back down, and we got out of a very significant part. We got, like, look at this. We were shorting Apple the whole way. We made it all back just by this little move there. So, you know, getting pretty aggressive up at the top side, but still trying to hold something out for this, right? So let's wait to see what happens here with Apple as we just continue to do the same trade over and over again. Guess where my reload is? It'll be 98. We'll see if that comes in. And then ultimately, I'm still holding. Like, I'm not getting out. I'm trying to scalp out, like, 30%, not even at these levels. Like, if it hits 85, then I'll get even more than that out. But for now, let's hold for a downside move. And there goes NVIDIA breaking 400.
Didn't get the long.
Yeah,
I don't want it. No.
We got filled at $400.30. So obviously a bad fill there. But that is the stock market for you. All right, let's go, man. Good trade on NVIDIA, but not good trade for me as it continues to break higher. Oh, we had the long there. That's too bad. Gave a little bit of money back there on that NVIDIA break, guys.
All right, just a little more background on this so everyone's completely up to speed, because we are now. CoreWeave, so it's a deal essentially between Microsoft and this company, CoreWeave. If you rewind the clock back to their NVIDIA's last earnings report, in that earnings report, they mentioned that they were going to start renting these AI-focused GPUs. So CoreWeave is actually the company that is going to do, or is doing that renting and renting out these GPUs through NVIDIA. So NVIDIA invested, I think it was over $100 million in CoreWeave, but it's actually CoreWeave, and you've been kind of pointing to this as a catalyst, is the one that's actually doing the renting.
Yeah, and we heard about this because people want to take these GPUs, take them on an LLM, a large language model, and train it on their own proprietary data, their own API. That's what they want to do, and they want to be able to manipulate that data. So this is what this computer system allows them to do. When we heard Jensen Huang, you brought it up at the last conference, talked about new revenue sources, and that's what we were saying at the desk. We want to see what those new revenue sources were, and they did not disappoint.
Clearly, still to this day, have not disappointed. So yeah, looks like Microsoft going to pack the closets with some more GPUs maybe for AI. Anyways, let's wrap things up with Chewy. What a move for Chewy today. Initially up huge in the pre-market on an absolute monster report. Again, another one that just had very, very little in the way of negativity in it on earnings.
Amazon competitor or an Amazon takeover project, I guess. Who knows? Let's look at the chart. 38 is a key level for me on the chart. Last time we were up here, it was mid-March. We topped out at that level. We haven't been up there since. I'll be looking for 38 as resistance.
I'm just double checking. 12.5 billion market cap for Chewy. So I guess that's probably at the close yesterday, but still, 12.5 billion. I actually thought it was smaller than that. But yeah, no, I mean, Amazon makes it so easy. We were saying this morning, Amazon makes it so easy. You know, same day things show up at your door, even when it comes to pets. I think I was reading during lunch. I think the difference here is there's a lot of individual brands and individual products that you might find on a Chewy where you don't.
Interesting.
On an Amazon. Rundown brought to you by Nextech3D.ai, an emerging company poised to revolutionize 3D modeling applications in the rapidly growing e-commerce industry. Their generative AI technology allows for the efficient creation of high-quality 3D models. Scan the QR code, bottom right corner, to learn more. NTAR is the ticker here on the CSE in Toronto. You can see OTC QX listing is NEXCF for Nextech 3D, guys.
So so two things today, and one of them is Chewy, and the Chewy 36, so we'll get that out of the way on the daily chart, was a bit of a breakout. It was more like 35.80. You can see here, this was the break, and you're looking at other things. At the open, you got, like we always say this, you got to pick and choose what you want to trade at the open, and if you don't take an open break, sometimes it's just that's it, and then it dipped to the same price. Nothing else to see here. But there is something else that broke that I got to be accountable. Here's some accountability. For multiple days, we talked about CRM getting to $30. Now, CRM opened at 20. Everyone in the back is going crazy. I have no idea why. But $27 where Upstart was at the open. And at that point, I'm not really thinking 30 break in my head, but the 30 break was out there. That's the level on the daily chart. It was a pretty solid, it screamed into that level, but it was clean, man. It didn't reverse till it got past like 31.5. So it was a good trade. I should have been in it. A lot of times something gets 10% away from your price. You're like, I'm not going to have the order out there. But you should always set an alert so that it gets to 29.50 or something like that, or 29.10 or whatever. I'm just triggered that I know I got to go over there and look at it. I did not do that. That was a bit of a miss. Chewy I can live with because I did not want to break out at 9:30. I had made that decision strategically from a risk standpoint. But Upstart, that broke out with plenty of time. It was a good level. And there's been lots of breakouts today. And it's just, I'm also frustrated with myself on NVIDIA because the first break on the news, if I only take that trade, I'm up on NVIDIA. But I kept on going for it over and over again for more and more, and then losing, then shorting it, and then losing on the short when it broke 400, only for that to wick back down to 399. So I'm just going back to the well to Apple. I do have a Google short where it's just barcoding in front of like 123.55. And so far we're holding on to from earlier. But right now the story for me is Apple at this 180. There's so much going. I hear 4 lats, 4 LTAZ, Nike nearing 100. Okay, that's a big round number. There's so many names out there at key prices. Just try to pick 1 or 2 and stick to those. You almost have to today because if you can be all over the place with so many names at key levels right now.
It's ridiculous. I mean, we're still doing the same work on Apple. We've got another position right now as well. Chewy, I didn't even look at it. I think if you are a pet lover or owner like I am, like Brendo is, like Sharif is, yeah, it's pretty cool. I've been on that website before. I like it. A lot of unique things. I don't think they deliver to Canada, though, but I was an investor off... Oh, they do? Okay, good. I heard that story. Okay, good. So that was in the beginning. I was an investor in Chewy from their IPO. So it's been a good one on that. But yeah, right now I'm just watching Apple as here it goes back to the downside here a little bit. Did I just get a fill there? 94s? Okay. Yeah, we got a 94 fill there. I don't want to take 4 or 5 cents, but like I said, just 10%. If it's only going to give me that, we're using more shares than normal, obviously, as this just continues to drift higher, lower. We just keep on reloading at the same levels, 98 every time. So now that we get a little bit of a pull down, where's my next bid? 91 for much more shares. Give me it at 91 now. Oh, we didn't miss it. We missed it, but that's okay. Hopefully, there it is. Now I get it. So that's a good one right now. We spend the money on all this. But yeah, we'd be up a hell of a lot more money if we you could take that off the board there, Alfredo. We're done with all that right now. But there it is, another pullback down. We just got an 87 fill, I think, there, 88 fill. And now we'll watch out because it's NVIDIA that's bothering me. We're just stuck. We're stuck long again. Like we were short. We got out on the 400 break. It wick topped. It's Pretty easy trade, but missed by me. We should have been short not long again on this name. We were short early, short late, long late, and it looks like we're going to get stopped out. I just don't want to be part of this anymore. 398.50. If it doesn't hold it, we're gone. That's the level for me. Let's see if it goes back up $1. Get me something out at 399.80 or something like that for flat, and then we'll work on that trade after that. But there goes Apple. Let's freaking go right now. This is what we're all about on the show, man. Give us that monies right now, Apple. Nice pullback down in. Hallelujah for Apple, man. I've been absolutely disgraceful on this NVIDIA trade. But there goes Apple again. We put that money in the bank again here. Give me those 81s. Yes, sir. All right, Apple, let's go. Let's start to pay some bills with this trade. Downside action now on Apple and not on NVIDIA. I'm going to take a piece out of NVIDIA right here.
The way I feel right now about Apple flushing is this is kind of like the Palantir 15 level. And I know I was one of the first people to even say to everyone we talked to, like when there's a level like this where the scalp trade's on as a day trader, you just want to make sure you're making your bank on that one and put the risk toward that because it'll end up being worth it at the end of the day and being all over the place. Like I'm looking at NVIDIA. It's like, okay, well I lost long, I lost short on NVIDIA, and if I had just taken the time and capital on NVIDIA, I could have just made another 50% on Apple by putting the risk there and being focused on taking more fills on Apple. So there is an opportunity cost on all of it. Like I haven't been rinsing and repeating my Google trade. I'm just sort of sitting in it. Same thing with SoFi. But there's other things happening. Two things I want to get to quickly. Is Apple. My next fill is going to be in the 70s there. UCAR apparently is going again. So this nonsense. Whoa, 70s on Apple. Let's go.
Let's go.
UCAR making more moves because that, quite frankly, that's just what it does. It is all the way up at $10 again. It's running. Tesla, another one I want to get to, because it has a chance at 210 today. This is still going up. Tesla's been going only upside, super strong. It broke 200 this morning, and it could hit 210 this afternoon. But as I said, like everything should have been Apple. For good reason, it'll be my number one stock today. But I'm just angry over the fact that I decided to put risk in other places. You always have to have good risk to reward. That'll allow it to be okay, but sometimes all the risk should be in one spot. That's just how it is at times. And SoFi, we can look at SoFi. We should. It's load. There we go. It's coming back into VWAP. It could never get past that 725 level. However, it bounced once off 7 even. I did not take it. I was looking for a better test of VWAP. If it were to bounce off VWAP again, I think I'd look for a reload on SoFi. Maybe just give it to like 95 or something. But it's not really moving all that much. You can see that other stocks are moving much more heavily than SoFi right now. So yes, it was a good break at that 7 level, but there's more exciting things happening. It goes without saying at this point.
Yes, sir. Very, very exciting day right there as we, obviously we're tweeting this. I mean, the thing is we've been tweeting this out. Make sure you join me at tradertv Sean there on Twitter, of course, because this Apple trade, it's not like this is something that we haven't been, pounding out all afternoon. And we talked about this. It only takes one trade to give you what you want, and this is doing it right now again. Look at this. Nice flush down. A lot of fills. Because I don't know if it's going up or down. I mean, the NASDAQ is at the 50 period right now. Let's just keep on trading with Apple here. It's a pretty simple opportunity. You're short in front of 180. The risk, I got stopped out 29 cents on NVIDIA, which obviously sucks, but so I don't know how many cents are we going to slip up here on Apple. I said it before, I thought 20 was probably appropriate. So now that we're pulling back in 30 cents in the money, you start to get a little bit more out here, right? So this is so good so far here on Apple to that area. We're still in C3AI, by the way. We're still in it from the morning down here at 30. We took a 32 fill. No fills lower than our first in. So what a great trade. But you guys know we were watching this. Actually, we were off the show. But that went to $37, giving us. I remember Sharif was like, "Oh, where are you in at?" I'm like, "Ah, it's just a $6 winner." But that is what it was, and we should have taken it, obviously. But there it is, all the way to the upside. I didn't know. I was trying to hold out for the dream. We still have 20% left, on this trade, and we'll wait to see where we go. But C3AI kind of barcoding right now, so not doing too much. I mean, obviously we need a 35 take. I'm not going to get out of this. So if it comes all the way down, let it come all the way down, and we'll just feel that one out. Because honestly, the amount of money that we're making on Apple and everything right now, and losing on NVIDIA, you know, those are the ones that I'm looking at now. Not C3 AI, that's kind of sleeping. There's NVIDIA right now, right back into some key levels once again, 398.60. So we'll see if it can hold that. But yeah, this long does not appear to be right down here.
Oh, just I got to get to Carvana because it's made a big run, but it's back $1 pulling back here as the market's off those highs. And this will be another situation where I don't know, I got out of this the long at like 15, 20, so it doesn't matter. I didn't hold it to that 16, 17 area, but that was the zone on the daily where the short I thought would come in. I just didn't really wait for I didn't wait for 17. And it happens. I thought there was a setup there at the 16 level. I took that one, ended up getting stopped out, and look at it go at 17. That was absolutely gorgeous. Naresh Gupta saying Lulu 365 and maybe 400.
Liking that, eh?
I mean, look, I don't own shares of Lululemon, but it's at 330. I guess you mean you think it's going to go to 365 tomorrow, and then maybe go to 400 after that. The story for the retailers has been go down first and then rally. So I still kind of feel like the numbers might not be great, and you can still have a quadunk, and then you eventually catch a bid. But a lot of things caught bids today. Even Target caught a bid today. So I kind of felt like earlier, if you got any kind of a pullback on this stock that approached the 300, like 10% down day on Lulu was going to be a license to just try the long off the open as a day trader, and that you look for situations like that. But yeah, things after watching CrowdStrike and Macy's and every other one that you want to talk about, I'm not sure that's as likely. I'm going to get back over just quickly to update. I do still hit enter twice. I got one fill in the 60s, but last time Apple got down here, and we always say don't get up, I got up when this started pulling back and didn't double check my orders. I actually, because I didn't refill Apple the last time before I went to the bathroom, I ended up with too many shares on the bid, reversed into a long, and then it went down to 179.50. So I kind of feel like that's where you want to get some more shares out in front. And if it breaks that recent low, you could see 179 even on Apple today. At that point, I mean, I would only have like 10, 20% because I think that's how scalp trades work. But you absolutely never know. I'm still watching NVIDIA. I just feel like Apple's going to be a little bit more important. I'm out of Google. We already talked SoFi. And if you're still watching that UCAR, looks like it gave up that $10 area. Could be interesting if it makes a run at $11 here. I have no idea to price target a stock like this. These things are usually a little bit ridiculous. And it's about the fact that it has a low float. It's not a big short interest or anything like that. This is like I want to say a 7 million float on UCAR. So very tiny float. Very tricky to trade if you're going to be into that kind of thing. So my focus, as we said, going to be over there on Apple, a little bit of UCAR. NVIDIA 400 could still be a thing, but it obviously has to. I think it has to get back above there, in my opinion. Oh, and one other one for you, Amazon. Are you still on Amazon?
No.
Okay.
That was really early. What was that, Amazon? Oh, yeah, it was early in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, I only mean because like a litany of stocks are at the high of the day today. But look at Amazon on the daily. Quickly, this is Amazon daily chart. This is Amazon right at
Holy
test of that
Apple,
123 high. So if it's gotten above, it's now right back beneath it. If this market were to turn around, you just saw Amazon break and fail that break of the high. So I like the money fills into that 123 level. Apple is now again in the 60s. So that's the one. It should be twice as good in my opinion. But I felt the same way about Palantir. As long as it's your best stock on that day, when it was the best opportunity, you shouldn't be too upset with yourself because it means at least you prioritized it. But at the same time, it's like that Palantir day, if you traded nothing but, or like if you traded nothing but Apple, it's always much better.
So we, I don't know if you guys, I mean, I was talking about this key level here on NVIDIA right there. So we took some more shares at 398.70 here, and now look where it is. So we were able to get some out at 399, so made 30 cents back on a piece of it. Now we got to go. I mean, now we got to go, and it needs to go. I'm sitting here at 50 just to get a piece out because the last time I didn't get it out, we went right to 45 and then dropped back down. We are quadunking a little bit, not really, but on Apple, which is now set 40 cents in the money. Let's see if this can go, man, for NVIDIA. We've made, like I I just mentioned, man, Apple was like the worst stock for me today, and now we're up on it. So cannot complain on Apple at all. We danced a little bit. SoFi, oh, look at these fills on SoFi, by the way. You're like, oh man, this guy's still in it, but not really. Look at these outs. We actually tweeted this out as well. SoFi, we have a 725 fill there on SoFi. And again, this is one of those, if I just stick with sticky note names and just trade like key levels, I think we'll be okay, because we wrote down on here SoFi right at the bottom, $7 long. It's the only trade we have. We got them out around 8s, 9s, 10s, came back in, got some outs like basically for flats, 05s, 06s. It finally breaks down below. We got one piece out at 97. But our stop was down here like 90, so we were lucky that didn't fill. Then it just ripped all the way back up, and we started getting more outs again. 10s, 18s, and then eventually all the way up here at 24 we got, which is amazing. And now you're starting to fill it back in a little bit. Let's watch to see if SoFi still comes back down to the 695, 696. Obviously, as I keep talking like this, my eyes, just like what Neil was saying, we're always looking at different trade opportunities. And I got to keep an eye on NVIDIA. It just stopped again at 50 right there. So that's too bad, because we're sitting there again. 10 more cents and we get that fill. And now look at it. Now it's 20 cents against us the other way. So hopefully we get one more little blast up there. We're at 399.50. Hopefully that will fill. We're actually at 49. So let's see if we can get that fill back in here for NVIDIA. Let's see if C3AI wants to wake up a little bit. We're $4 in the money on this one. And everything else is a wrap, man. I mean, we did great to get out of Apple. Look at all these outs in the 60s. This is what trading's about. Like, you take, I mean, Neil's been talking about it, you take the best opportunities and you just hope to have a decent amount of risk, and we did that, I mean, numerous times. We had a decent amount of risk. I mean, how many fills is this? So, good opportunities.
180.
Yeah, on Apple, 183, Neil.
Well, that's because, you know what I'm,
yeah,
darts,
that's
right?
the darts, yeah. When you get 3 60s in a row. But,
to be honest with you, do you not just love watching when darts are on like
it's the
ESPN
best, because
sometimes?
it's just drinking, basically.
And the commentators, dude, the commentators that do those darts things, they're lit, man. They're amazing at it, because like it's just that, but who cares? And the crowd's going nuts too. I love watching that shit. So Apple comes back to the top, you know what we're gonna do. But Tesla making another run at the high of the day. Oh my goodness, if Tesla goes 210 and there's size on the offer, I feel like it's going to be the same thing over and over and over and over again, where it's just these runs at the top. Structuring along is difficult, because the breakouts haven't been good. So I'm not taking a 209 break on Tesla. Good luck if you do. I think maybe the way to go here, if you like the trend, would be to look at these consolidations. So when it broke 208, it came back down. It got to 09 or 0870, came back to 08, consolidation, just grab the long in there somewhere, and then go higher. I like it. Buy, sell, which one do you want to do? On Tesla, you probably want to buy. On Apple, we're just going to be back to selling, but we're only selling at 180. And I keep adjusting my stop order to the different type of stops. I'm going back and forth with what stop I'm using on Apple.
Oh, man. Okay, so I don't really have too much to talk about. Is there anything you guys want to look at right now? I mean, NVIDIA's just doing that. Oh, did you just look at Carvana? Because that's a name.
It pulled back $1 already, though.
$16.
More than $1. Oh, my goodness.
Jeez, man. Apple's pulling back nicely as well right now, so that's sort of still been in the pocket here. But, yeah, there's Carvana. What a monster this name is. We've already, I mean, up to $20. Oh no, I don't want to go that far. There it is. So up to 20. I don't care about all the past stuff, honestly. Like, going back too far isn't gonna really matter on these names, because oh, you can't even see that. I don't know what to do. Okay, here we go. Maybe you can just do this. So let's go forward a little bit more. There we go. Okay, that's better. Yeah. So you saw. I don't know. Is that even better? Okay, so some consolidation here, 18, 19, that goes back to October, so that's obviously a while ago, and you know, that could be an area of concern. I'll still never forget when Morgan Stanley was at $7 or $8, and they put a $1 price target, and it flushed all the way down here to 3 or 4, and now you're at 16. So again, to be a little bit patient with Carvana definitely had worked in your favor this time around, but for right now, it's Carvana, it's moving. And yeah, definitely watch out for that. Up to $16, you know, a good little level there. You can short off 16, but get out if it breaks, right? Make sure that your risk to reward, whatever your target is on these names, give yourselves at least 1-to-1, right? And then after that, take some pieces out 2-to-1 and so on and so forth. So I think a Carvana flush is something that could happen right here. Nice move downside. You have the 200, the 50, all that's right here. Let's see if it can move down. There's a target for you, 1570. So I feel like, you know, if you take a short now, that's 30 cents. So that kind of aligns with this trade right there. So Carvana, I like it. It's kind of lining up right now.
Yeah, I do like that short. I just liked it at 17. I think the money feels, I kind of like the money feels over 16 in that situation. I am in two things. The other, well, three. I'm not counting SoFi, guys. Apologies. I know we're in the stock, but we've gone over why it's kind of boring here. So I am in Amazon at that 123 consolidation. On the higher time frame, it's been resistant. It's failed to break now a couple of times. So I'm on the back end of this trade. I would like some fills over 123, but if they never happen, it is what it is. Wow, I mean, Tesla, it broke 209, but I don't like the breaks up here. I keep saying it. The market is just riding the highs now. This is the NASDAQ. I mean, the ES is going to look the same, so it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to bother showing it to you. 14.5 on the NASDAQ has been some trouble before, and you're running into it at this top. It does give you a chance to think about resistance levels and some fades. Tesla's on the strong end. To me, Amazon's pulling back, and we already talked about Apple. Bigfoot's saying Dell is halted. Is it? Is Dell halted? Yeah, Dell's halt. Yeah. Well, no, it's not.
They
it's
reported, so I don't know.
On our system, it's not showing. No, it is halted. It's just our system's not graying it out. Okay. That's news to me. I'll just very, very quickly.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had the NASDAQ halt page up here somewhere, Neil. No, there's trade halts. So is Dell on there? I don't see Dell on there.
No, I don't see. I don't think it's.
See Dell on there.
I don't see any news about Dell at all. And if it was halted, like legit.
But on my level 2, it looks halted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go to Brendan.
I am showing this right now. News pending, guys, for Dell. So halt Dell Technologies news pending. That just popped up.
Okay, so cool, Brendan.
And it's
thanks
still
for
not
that.
there. Okay, Dell news pending.
That's all we can do is
So
wait to
just-
see what this news is all about, right?
Yeah, exactly. This means forget about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, all that good stuff. Like, it opens when it opens. And quite frankly, this late in the day, sometimes it doesn't open back up. I've seen that happen before.
Yep.
I was in Spirit Airlines when it happened, and I had to hold that one overnight. And we have our favorite guest. He is back. He's never going to give us up, and he's never going to let us down. Frank Caberna at the desk.
That's
of
my
Brendan.
line.
I know. I was talking.
Verna, senior content strategist for IG in Chicago once again as we tee up what is to come. Tomorrow morning at 8:30, we'll get the latest reading on non-farm payrolls. Before we get to that, Frank, though, what a move we've seen the past couple of days here for some of the Treasury yields back to the downside once again as I guess we avoid disaster ahead of June 5th that everyone is talking about here. This vote gets through the House yesterday, going to go to the Senate now next. Shouldn't be really any roadblocks ahead of being signed into law. So where is normal, I guess, is the question here for not only yields, but also the US dollar?
Yeah, absolutely. It seemed like the whole time there was some wiggle in the stock market, Brendan, around this, but I don't know if the stock market ever bought in to the debt ceiling not being raised, creating a potential Treasury default, having long-term effects on that stock market. I think the stock market bought into kind of the rational person's thought that like this will get solved at some point. And so we never saw, a 10% drop or whatever other people were calling for. What we did definitely see was movement in interest rates as there was a debt ceiling premium, I would say, a risk premium of default that was built in from around 5% up to 6%. But this becomes really difficult because in the same time as the debt ceiling getting closer and closer, we did see good U.S. data that would lend to higher interest rates. So you're spot on that the question becomes, how much of this is premium built in and now coming out because of the debt ceiling, and how much of it is the Fed actually hiking interest rates? Again, I think that it feels like, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, that we are right now stagnating a little bit at what was the debt ceiling risk premium, so to speak, now that Treasury bills have gone from 6% as of Friday's close down closer to 5.25%, a little bit higher than 5%. The 2-year also stabilizing around there as well. That being said, Brendan, before the debt ceiling talks started to really ramp up about 3 or 4 weeks ago, we were closer to 4.5% in short-term interest rates and not really looking at the potential for another hike. And there's still chances that we do get that hike coming in here either in June or July. In June, it's looking about like a 25 to 30% chance of that rate hike to 5.25% here in U.S. interest rates. In July, I checked right before the show, there's about a 50% chance that they get either there or another 25 basis points higher. And with the debt ceiling stuff out the window, the conversation definitely becomes more straightforward as to just how good is U.S. data. And the conversation becoming more straightforward couldn't come at a better time because non-farm payrolls tomorrow morning, thankfully, with some of the Treasury default risk out the door, we can look at the odds as they currently are, which is about a 25% chance of a hike on June 14th, and look at the expectation of 190,000 jobs and say, okay, if we get, a 200 plus reading, that would lend to maybe more inflation and another interest rate hike. If we get a worse than expected number here around 150 or 100, then maybe they price out that chance of a rate hike here in just a couple of weeks. So this non-farm number is going to be very relevant.
It's interesting. I mean, if you go back to Wednesday this week, the JOLTS number comes out higher than expected. We get the ADP then this morning higher than expected. All signs pointing to maybe non-farm payroll is going to be higher than expected. The 14th, we get the Fed. The 13th, then we get CPI, the next reading on inflation itself. So a number of data points still to come before we actually get to the next interest rate decision. However, it's clear today, the market definitely focusing on that left-hand column, the 72% chance that they're not going to do anything at the next meeting, which, would be obviously good for stocks. If we shift gears a little bit, I mean, we've been kind of comparing the euro and the USD on the sense that, the USD has been so strong going into what seems to be a resolution here for this debt ceiling issue. It's been a couple weeks in a row straight to the downside for the euro, but is it time that we see some sort of stability here?
Yeah, and another similar conversation as to interest rates, how much of this was, Treasury default risk and how that would play out in the, global economic landscape, and how much of it was just U.S. data maybe warranting more rate hikes, and data in the Eurozone and in China and some of these other places coming in weak, because it wasn't just the euro that's been getting hit by USD over the last couple of weeks here. As you see, 18 of the last 20 trading days closing lower in this market, down 400 pips from 111 yesterday, trading below 107. And now, a bounce back, but a bounce back of 70 to 80 pips. So they're not taking back all of this. And this isn't the type of, we both know that markets are so efficient that the minute that markets know that a resolution is coming, it gets priced in. It's not a matter of, when the Senate or whoever finally signs the piece of paper, that's when another 300 pips come. I think a part of this is really one, U.S. strength, and we'll again see that number tomorrow and the CPI to come in a couple of weeks, if that will push the U.S. central bank over the edge of another rate hike or two. Because remember, Powell has not been talking down the chances of a rate hike. It seems like he's game for another one or two. He's pretty ambivalent, it seems, pretty neutral on the scale of hawkish to dovish right now. But two, how much of this is fear of the euro economy and the Chinese economy? Because the Australian dollar, which is very, very closely tied to the Chinese economy, has also been hitting new lows in the last week, and it's bouncing back here today, but Brendan, it's a bounce back of about 1% coming off of, a 3, 4, 5% fall. Same with crude oil, a nice bounce back here today in crude. But it's not like it's regaining the last month's worth of losses. I think the debt ceiling resolution is good for today's bounce, but there are still plenty of fears of an economic slowdown as crude oil was trading, obviously, in the 80 handle a month or two ago, and now bouncing back to $70, $71 here, but not recapturing all of those losses. As I think the U.S. dollar flight to quality and the selling in crude oil and the selling in some of these other commodity markets is the very real potential of an economic slowdown. But what's been really interesting is the stock market not really buying into too much of that. It was almost like amid all of the fear of the debt ceiling, tech stocks are completely fine, and now they're rallying off the news as well. It feels like there's something larger at play, and it might just be this Chinese story and the European data. I mean, we got European inflation numbers earlier this week that all pointed to, yes, lower inflation, which is good in a sense, but is their economy kind of grinding to a halt? We'll see.
Yeah, more to come on that, obviously. I mean, it's been such a wild ride for crude oil over the past couple of weeks to the downside here. We were talking earlier in the week on individual stocks as well, getting back to 52-week lows and multi-month lows anyways for a lot of them, and setting up to be pretty good buying opportunities. I'll put you on the spot here as we head into tomorrow. I think it's been 2 or 3 months in a row here that this NFP number has come out to the upside. The last month, however, we saw stocks initially react negatively, and then we just flew all day long back higher. So it's looking like, we might get another print on the high side here. If that is the case, where's the trade in your opinion?
Yeah, it feels like, I think you and I are both parking our cars in the same garage here, that it feels like that print is going to be higher unless some of the other U.S. economic data is just completely disjointed from this NFP. It feels, Brendan, like we're out of the phase of higher interest rates, meaning lower stock prices. It feels like higher economic data for the U.S., higher interest rates in the U.S., is becoming more of a positive sentiment for the stock market. So I mean, especially looking at that NASDAQ, if interest rates are moving lower, NASDAQ's rallying. If interest rates are moving higher, NASDAQ's rallying. It does feel like a better than expected number might translate to just general optimism and upside in that stock market. When was the last time that we saw interest rate projections move higher on a higher than expected number and the stock market just completely sink it? It hasn't really happened since the end of last year.
It's a great point. And, we sit here every single day and say, you got to trade what you see and not what you think is going to happen. So definitely a key, definitely difficult at the same time to try and wrap your head around that premise. But big day to come tomorrow, big couple of weeks to come here as we head towards the next Fed meeting. So great stuff as always. Frank Caberna is Senior Content Strategist over at IG in Chicago. Great to see you as always. We'll speak again next week.
Thanks, Brennan.
Parking your cars in the same garage. I've heard a lot of Frankisms, but that's my favorite. That's my favorite one. I'm gonna find a way to be able to use that one for you guys. So you might, if you've been paying attention to Apple, you've seen what happened. They did it. The algos absolutely won that battle because it ran the stops at 180. The fills were, the high says 180.12. I got nines out. And then the second it printed nines, it was right back in the mid 90s. So you reverse that long, it was a quick 15-cent hit there for the reversal in the long. And on top of that, you lost 10 cents on the short, right? So, all that work, and then it just does that whole rug game. Obviously, if you held on to the long, you got completely washed, but you can't do that. You really can't do it. Oh, and by the way, congratulations! That's for you, Steve G. Celebrating 32 years of marriage today. What was she thinking? Well, hopefully good thing. So congratulations. And obviously, best wishes to you, and enjoy that anniversary. Coming up on some big ones there, those big numbers. So that's Apple. I'm still short off the high of the day on Amazon, though it's getting pretty close to it. And guess what is named Tesla? I got nothing for Tesla. Tesla 210 is incoming here. So this is nuts. You have a lot of names that are making some strong moves here. 210 about to become in play. I don't know what the level is going to look like when it gets there, but I'll let you guys know. Probably make sure we have it up on the old level too. I wanted to double check what a couple of names were out there. So I'm going to make sure I have Tesla up for you guys on the level 2, just in case it is a gigantic level. I don't know what's going to be there when it gets to that price. I want Carvana short. I said money fills on this would be above 16. It's starting to creep up. I thought maybe a little bit tighter to that 17 area. This doesn't really fit the R&R 16, 20 short. VWAP's at 15 even, 17 is 80 cents away. It's got to get above like 50. Somewhere in here, you got to get the short up there. Then it's going to set up for risk to reward. Secret treasures. Instead of buying Tesla now, you can buy TSLL for Tesla long and TSLS for Tesla short. Yeah, they have the... yeah, those are out there, but I mean for us, yeah, they could. I think they're double. Is it 2 times leveraged or is it 3 on those? TSLL. It's 1.5. Okay, there you go. I don't trade them. Quite frankly, I don't think I ever had, but they are an option if you want to go into those. And quite frankly, if you have no locate, sometimes that's a good vehicle for a lot of people to be able to short things or bet that price goes down. So I do like Carvana. If it gets maybe 30 or 40 cents higher, I'd look for a short into that 17 level, but it is 17 that I want to be playing off of. Tesla 210 we just talked about. What else is out there? Yeah, I'm not going to short it just yet. I saw someone just said that. And what else do we have out there? There was, I want to talk about Amazon there because that's starting to get into the money fill territory. I always have to hit enter twice. It's so weird. I'll hit enter and then my charts don't flip when they're supposed to automatically go. But you have that double top up there. I'm in the 23s. I want to see it fail off 123.5. I don't really want to be risking more than that. So if it starts to curl, I can add anywhere from a quarter to 50 and then see if it can flush back in. I'm thinking at least halfway to VWAP or VWAP or trace. This market is getting top heavy. The way I see it, if the NASDAQ gets to NASDAQ gets to this 15.55 and you get up to that high from the 30th here, and anything hasn't broken the top, then I want to be short off of it. That's the way I'm going to look for that if it has a resistance level. So Dell came out with their earnings. Okay, so the news is out on Dell. That would mean maybe they're gonna reopen this one before the market closes. I don't know. We'll see what happens with Dell.
Dell's numbers were huge.
Do you have them?
Yeah, I have them. They're absolutely monstrous.
Oh, yeah, it is big. That's big. Yeah, 131 versus 85, and they're looking for revenue. Q1 revenue, that can't be right. That's not that good. Let's go to Brendan.
The numbers just coming across here, guys, at 3 o'clock. So adjusted EPS of $1.31. So it looks like maybe this was leaked. Cash flow from operations, $1.8 billion. Quarterly per share, 79 cents. Adjusted $1.31 versus 86. So yeah, monstrous it would appear for Dell here.
Is that I have revenue 21 versus 26
I
billion.
see the same thing you do.
So we're going to wait to see where this goes on that. But for right now, Google, remember HPQ was actually bad, so I'd be surprised. Yeah. I'm surprised about that Dell number, but we'll see what's happening right now with everything. We've just gotten more shares long here of Google. I don't know. I went to go get a coffee because when Apple broke, that was just disaster. Not disaster. It wasn't disaster at all.
The algos won.
Actually. I don't know who won. I mean, I think I won, but we do get out there for a 7-cent hit. So that to me is a victory because that's why on all these pullbacks, like we were getting out 91s, 92s, things like that. Now I just bought some on this dip here thinking that, okay, maybe like Neil said, the algos run this thing through 180. Now maybe with the market absolutely ripping right now, Apple can get back to the promised land. But one person that's always in the promised land is Brendo. What's up?
A few people posting that 26 number. Here's what I am seeing right now. 20.9 versus 20.27 billion on the quarterly revenue. So still beat, not huge, but still beat there.
I mean, that would make more sense with a huge adjusted EPS that the revenue was at least in line, if not better than that. So I tend to want to go with what Brendan says because he's usually right.
Yeah.
He's pretty much always right. I want to get to one other name, and this was a bit of I totally missed out on the coin breaking out here. So coin broke that 64 level. Obviously, there's a lot to look at to trade, so I didn't even short this when it got there. I would have had this trade. You see this pop into 64. I would have shorted 65.50. I would have lost 50 cents. I didn't take the trade, so I guess I saved myself on coin, but that's more coincidental. So many other things happening. But now that it's continuing its move, pop the daily up. The money is always when it gets to 70. So there are some big levels that have been worth the fades. If it goes another few dollars, I am going to like it. So I'm looking at that CVNA. Tesla's getting pretty darn close. So here comes Tesla inbound to 210. It's not just that 210's a round number, but it's had resistance up around 210 before on the daily chart. So this has been a spot where the sellers have come in. I'm looking for there to be any kind of an offer up there, and then we'll go to work for that. Day trader cut saying Intel. That wasn't doing anything.
But Intel and Dell, maybe there could be something there. Is that what?
I mean, it had a bit of a spike. Yeah, I mean that makes some sense. But
Yeah.
it moved like 20 cents. That's not actually. You know what? 20 cents on Intel is actually pretty good. So that is a legit move on Intel off that Dell, the Dell earnings, and that would make some sense, of course, that they could catch a bit of a bid there if Dell's going to show strong. But again, it's the EPS that was strong. The actual net revenue, so the actual sales, is in line for Dell. That's what Brendan just showed us. So, I mean, that tells me they're more efficient, not necessarily that they have more business. I don't know.
Let's just talk the talk.
I'm not chasing Intel on that.
Yeah, everybody wants to know the guidance and stuff like that. So if these numbers were leaked, then that's fine. Numbers, stocks aren't really trading on that kind of number right now. They want the forward look, so we'll have to wait to see what's going on. All right, so I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to work here with Apple or what's not going to work with Apple. It doesn't look like it wants to go too much higher, but look what the NASDAQ's doing. Like 14,520 right now. We talked about it on a longer term time frame. That last high is right there, 14,560. So we still have a little bit more to go here, 30 or 40 more handles to the upside. We'll see what's going to happen here into the close. I feel like obviously all eyes on Apple and now all eyes on me, Tupac. But no, let's just go to the upside. I don't have any more offers until 95, which is right up here, which is where we got to 93 last time. Let's just see if it wants to go. And if it comes back to the downside, we have our targeted outs, which let me advise you where it was, 65 breaks. So that's 70. We came close to getting out the first time when it broke back down. We didn't, so we put a 65 break, which is down in here. So let's wait to see if that does come through. So far, so good, though, on the reload. Who knows? Google's been good reloaded off VWAP right here, so okay. Let's see if it wants to go up a little bit more. I'll put a 47 out and see if we can get out some of this. C3AI, $5 now in the money. It was just almost $5.50 as we just touched $35.50 there. We got pretty close, man, back into here. I'm going to put an offer around 36, like somewhere around here in case we really do get a pop into the close. I'd be happy taking $6, $36.50 or so on that to come in at the end. So hopefully we'll get that to come through now, 36 and change. It's 308. Like, yeah, okay, well, at least Apple's starting to go a little bit. Like, my net just keeps going up when this happens, of course, but it's like, oh, now I'm just like, I just said I wouldn't look at this till 95, and there I am taking a piece out at 89. So, okay, good out there, at least temporarily. We'll see what happens here with Google. Hopefully they all just continue to fly up, man. The only other trade we have on is SoFi, which isn't doing anything. Barcode Nation, shout out to you and SoFi. Microsoft, beast. Honestly, we were short in front of 330. Look what happens when we get... Actually, it was pretty good. Short out, until eventually it broke. And then there it is, man. I don't know why I don't go long on some of these breaks. Breaks have been okay, especially the last week or so, in such a strong market. I mean, look at the NASDAQ. Keeps going up. You get out of any of your shares, you instantly have FOMO, right? So nice moves upside. Let's just let this momentum in this market go for the rest of the afternoon and see if we can get new highs in a lot of these tech names.
Yeah, and speaking of names with some fresh highs, Carvana just got to 16.5. I said that's where I wanted for that go zone to start getting into it. Amazon looks like it does want that high. The 50 is going to be my out. That's where my script is set, and it's a bit of a round number, but I don't know. It's been a day where the round numbers have been the place to have your stop, and sometimes they hold, sometimes they don't, so that's where it's going to be. I'm not in just yet on Carvana because it just tagged 50 and pulled back, so I didn't really get any fills above 16.5. I'll start in here in the 40s if I can catch a fill, and then we'll work from there. Tesla never got to 210. It just got to 209.80 and decided it wanted to reverse. So I'm going to show you Amazon. 123.50 is the high. 49 is the high. My stop is going to be at 50. My price is actually going to be 7s right now. So we are risking about 50 pennies depending on slippage. Usually about 10 cents worth of slippage is pretty good on these ones. And then Tesla, I didn't get a peek at the level 2. It got to 80. I didn't see the level to see how big it is. I'm going to assume there was something on there. I guess the reversal happened a little bit early on Tesla as it is making the turn right now. It's a little frustrating, but I mean, the way that everything else is gone, I would have expected Tesla short 210 to really even be at 210. Instead, it was at 209.80. Congratulations if you got it. I guess I should have been more aggressive getting into it. That's how it works sometimes.
There's that wick exactly to 400 again on NVIDIA. So like we got stopped out at 398.50 or whatever that was right there when it, yeah, about that. 398.50 when it dropped back down, and then there it comes again. Okay, now we're starting to tank. All right, I'm going to take some more. I mean, I don't know what's going on with NVIDIA, obviously. I'm going to take some more Apple now. I just don't like the way this market is moving. NVIDIA's going to the down. I mean, I like it. I just don't know why we're not getting any better fills on a lot of these trades. So there goes Apple. Okay, come on, Apple. I'm still waiting at 95, but we just took some more out here at 88s, 89s, 90s there, and then Google's the same price. That Lucid is an absolute. Well, actually, we touched down at 620. I was waiting for more volume to hit there. We did get a lot of volume coming in today, but I was talking about like a bottom that we could respect a little bit there, and obviously it came down to 20, and that could have been it, but.
Now it's doing, what the heck is that?
What?
What it's doing now, Lucid.
Lucid, yeah, it's doing nothing right now. It's just relaxing. But here's the daily chart on this, and we basically touched 610. I mean, what did I say the bottom was today? 620. So we came within inches, 10 cents to be exact, of that. I think is this all-time bottom? It must be, right? There for Lucid. So either way, that 610, 620 level. There's when the Saudis, we thought that they were going to get involved again, back up to the upside. And they're involved today, and it's going the other way, of course, as they raise the cash. And down there to $6.20. So that's the bottom. We'll see if it can still hold out on that play. But so far, not so good today for Lucid. And that continues to the downside. Let's take a look at Palantir, a name that I'm red on today. Too many mistakes here on Palantir, including that 15. I mean, it's not a mistake. It's just, you know, a lot of the time, you know, short into 15, took some profits, short, took some profits there, breaks 15, we get out, we go long profit. I don't know where the problem is here. It must have been, maybe we had too many shares somewhere in here. But anyways, there's Palantir to the downside in what could be a great day because we made the top wick there at 15.20. But look at this, just kept on fading out. We put some risk on in here around 14.50. It kept on breaking. We got some profit back and forth there. So I don't know. I think we're probably just red because of this early move. Like we were short early there, but then we got it again and made some money. But anyways, yeah, earlier on we were red on Palantir, but then got some money back in and then just dropped some of it back in here as well. So we'll wait to see what sort of love Palantir has to that upside right now. It doesn't look like much. I mean, we need to find names that are moving around.
Micron's making a move.
Micron, is that, see, this is all on Dell.
So Intel, yeah, like Intel made a bit of a move there. We just saw that when Micron just broke the high. This is a bit of a gap fill for Micron because, you know, it rejected 75 last week. I wasn't here to see it, but I mean, you can see on the chart though. And it came right back in, holds the line at 69, and now maybe it fills in this, trying to fill in this gap, about a $2 gap. That's something like that when you're looking at a high break, that's a little bit more interesting. I don't know, I'm inclined to like this because there's so much room. If the market does want 2%, and by the way, I mean, I haven't seen a resumption time for Dell, but the news is out, so it could open. They'll show a resumption time on the NASDAQ Hall page before it opens up. I just haven't seen one, so I have no idea if it's going to open today. I would assume they have a chance to open it before the earnings, but they could just decide, well, we leaked it, but we'll wait till tomorrow for you to be able to trade it, or in the aftermarket. I've seen that before,
like and
so
subscribe.
we'll see what happens. Oh yeah, that reminds me, you haven't done it yet.
I haven't set it up.
Hola.
Are you hitting it?
Hola.
It's not working.
Like and subscribe today.
Oh no, never mind. Okay. No, it doesn't work. Like I tried the rapid fire, it didn't work.
Cat's plumbing is all fixed.
Hola, like and subscribe today.
It starts right, but you can't hit it multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, she-
Hola, cat. There we go.
Nice salad.
Yeah, so there we go. She's here, so that's good.
You want a
Okay.
salad lunch?
Same salad, man. Same salad you got.
Oh, I didn't know she's on the salad lunch.
Oh, yeah.
Usually
She's
she gets like,
been
it
on
doesn't
there
matter.
for a minute.
Yeah,
Okay.
now Micron's running. Like, oh, I should have just got in.
Yeah, all these names just continue to be a nightmare here. All right, that's C3AI. Looking at that now. Apple not doing anything. Google not really doing anything. SoFi not doing anything, so we need some more names. So let's go. What about AMD? We just talked about NVIDIA breaking a little bit lower through 398 now again. What's going on? NQ, there it is. 120. Ooh, AMD going the other way right now as opposed to NVIDIA. Isn't that strange? Like, this is why it's just so hard sometimes to make some money, because like you don't know what the right situation is, right? Like we had there sort of a play on NVIDIA that actually went to the downside on news with Microsoft, and then AMD not even involved, and that's taking out day's high right now back up to 121. Again, AMD was a pretty good trade short. You saw that. Then we kept on shorting it again. Good money to be made until eventually kicked out at 120. That break, see, that break would not have worked because
Dell's open.
Came back in. Okay, Dell's open?
Yeah,
Where are we on it?
It opened 47.40, so it opened $2 higher. It's already starting to pull back a little bit here. But they tend to like it. By the way, on the daily chart, this is Dell on the daily, resistance at 49, kind of dancing in the middle here. So 47, I mean, 47 might be something. I think the more interesting level is going to be back around 46.5. So previous resistance, 46.5. As it starts to dip back in, I think that's where I would look for like a little bit of a dip buy, and it's already made one bounce off that level. So once it shows any strength, I might take a shot long off 46.5. I just want to limit the amount of risk on this if it is going to be a Huadunk. I want to see a little bit of strength, and once it shows it wants to bounce, let's go, and so we're in. What did I get? I got a partial fill at 94. Well, that's lovely. There we go, and I just got the rest of it. I just leave the order in there sometimes. So we'll see what happens. I like this to 46.5. So I'm just going to get my stop order out there on Dell and see where it goes. I would like to add to this position, and it would have been nice if I got some fills underneath 47. If I start to see icebergs at 47, maybe we'll add at that price, but I want the under fills, not the over fills. A lot of times it's like, if you get the fills underneath 47 and then 46.5 holds, then you can, if a bid shows up at 47, you're getting out above that price. So that's the way I like to structure it. So I'm in now. Yeah, there it goes. It just broke that 46.5. I just took my shot. We got the long. End up being risk reward that we would have liked, but looks like they're selling the news. I would be cautious if you're long Intel and Micron right now. If they're dumping Dell on this, I might take another couple of shots at it, but it has to be off of this level or off 47 even. I don't want to just be pissing in the wind. Like, it's got to be off a level here, and we'll go long only off those.
All right, guys. Meanwhile, man, let's go spin it again. Wow, I mean, Apple's going to be fine after all this because we just got to fill at 180, and now we're going to go higher than this, hopefully. We got a 96. I want to thank Max for filling in for me on the midday show. I feel like a million times better. So we'll be back tomorrow for show. But look at this, man. Nice move on Apple all the way up, and we took advantage of that. That's for sure. Got some out here 95s. We talked about that's where our next bid was, or offer was, and then it ripped right to 180. And I'm like, okay, we'll take some out right there. I mean, we want to get higher, obviously, than all this. But right now, we'll take it, man, on that. And here's the fade almost immediately on that play there. We could check out Dell, Neil. Yeah, sorry, oops. Dell.ny, there it is right there. So right back up to $47 again. Yeah, for me, you guys know, let it settle down a little bit here. Obviously, there's the, flush down to 45, 46.50. But there's Dell again, not doing a whole heck of a lot off the reopen. It's bouncing around, but you got to watch out for the liquidity, right? Like, these stocks can be super liquid, and then when the algos turn off, there's no more liquidity anymore. So just be careful with all of that. What did we just get filled on? Google just went back up to the upside. We were actually waiting up there at 57. We didn't get it. So now let's put an order at 55 and see if we're lucky enough to get that. Actually, scratch that. We'll go to 54, cancel our 57. Maybe we do get a moon here at the end of the day on Google. And again, just going long. VWAP's there, the 200 here. So just a bunch of outs again, waiting for something to happen as the NASDAQ. Another huge day for the NASDAQ, man. Being up that 1.5% just continues to make dollars for everybody that has these calls or whatever you have in your portfolio. Congratulations to all that. All right, so I'm off Dell. Carvana, we talked about going short, or sorry, going long, and I hope that printed off for a lot of you. Is down here at 16. We were talking about giving it to that 1580 level or 1570. Remember, 30 cents? Well, there it is. It gave you about 1.5 to 1 up to 1650 and stopped. And look where we stopped. The exact same level that we stopped before. So an hour later, same level valid, 1650. So pay attention to that if you are a Carvana trader today. But if you are, then you would know about it. Okay, and Intel, are you in Intel? Because there's still people talking about that.
I'm not. I went back over to Dell. I feel like that's the one that's making the move. Intel's holding the high, and Dell is now starting to calm down a little bit around that 47 area. I want to work back into Dell off the same area. Just let it calm down a bit. So get it a little bit smaller to start, and then work around it. So Intel holding this consolidation. The other one to look at, of course, was Micron filling in that gap. I'm still on the bid for that break. I mean, if it retraces to the breakout level, that's kind of where I liked Micron. I didn't want to chase it too far. So as it comes back in, maybe I don't want to be too aggressive because, you know, if Dell pulls back too far, this was a sympathy play anyway. So I don't want to be too overly aggressive. I'm short Carvana at that same level, like that lower high from before. So I just got into the short. It hasn't really done much. I mean, 15, 20 cents in the money. That's not a ton on Carvana, especially off that 16, 17 level. So I want to give it some room. I'd like to see it back down to 16 to 1580, and then we can cover. Amazon actually ended up holding. So Amazon did not break the high of the day. The market broke tops. Amazon did not. That could be a good sign. If you're short, it's a good sign, obviously. And Tesla, Tesla. It caught a bid, looked like maybe it was going to make another run at 210. No, it's going sideways. So a little bit of resistance here on some of these high-flying names. Tesla off the high a little bit here. Amazon just peeled back a little bit. Microsoft is pennies off of its high. Everything is at that precipice and just doesn't seem to want to make that big move up. If Dell gets to 48, 47.40 is a high. I would get some in front of that, and then 48 as well. I do want to be short Tesla off 210. I can't bring myself to short it underneath 9. So this might just be, forget it. I mean, Tesla's probably done here. I missed the opportunity. It was at 210, and we're not in it. So we got to move on. I want to get some out in front of 123 on Amazon because the entries under weren't good, and the entries over are better. And then once we see 28, 22.8, and then 22.5, we'll work out down toward VWAP. That's the one we got. What else do we have today that was moving? I know that was at UCAR. I didn't trade it. It's still, usually a stock like this goes nowhere. You think it's going to flush to VWAP or give it all up. Credit to this thing. It's still up 200% and somehow not doing anything. Not doing anything on these is sometimes good for the bulls because it means it's not hwadunking. I wouldn't touch it unless you're in a consolidation long and risking to like 9 even or something like that. It's way too high up here. Sometimes they make a run. I'm not going to be the person betting that it does. But I'll keep an eye on it just in case it makes a move. For me, it's Carvana, Amazon, Dell. SoFi is probably going to trail out underneath VWAP here. It's back under $7.
Yeah, I need some shorts. I am short now, SoFi. We punched short 98s. We were long 701. We got out 99. Well, you can't see it. It's the same price. So I guess we got out 98, 99 there or not. Oh, man, I lost the slots. Come on, man. Come on, Streamlabs.
How does that work?
You just go dollars. You go. I just
play.
lost 50 points. I don't know why I'm gambling 50 points. You just go like this. Come over to my screen. So you go slots right now, and then you go 30, and then we see what happens. Okay, let's go. Come on, let's go. Let's get money bag, money bag, money bag. All right, so someone there, 4 lats just lost. Let's see what I can get here. There it is. Pound slots.
Now
XX.
everyone's gonna do it.
Yeah, everyone's gonna do it. But hey, where's my slot machine? Let's go pull that thing. Oh no, shoot! Now everyone's doing it. There it is. Oh no! So everyone got. I don't see any winners there. So I think I must have lost.
I lost too.
You lost as well. But Rhino.
Boom.
Oh my God.
You win. So does Adrian right there. Won 100 points.
Adrian.
Wow, won 150. Okay. Meanwhile, the market is open. So let's go back to that and have a quick look.
Oh, Vaughn is just starting to go
what
down.
is exactly going down. And some of these stocks starting to go down to the downside right now as we're starting to break lower. There it is, man. Google's a positive stock for us today, and that's why, because you get out on the top, and then when it breaks, you're not in it anymore. So let's go to the
Tesla
downside.
just got quad doomed.
Yeah, so I don't see any like relevant news in the last couple minutes, but there it is. Nice little pullback down off 14. Well, we're at 14.5 right now. Let's see if it holds.
Yeah, so I just got 16s on Vana, and if it gets down, like 1580 is the next level, and then VWAP probably going to be the next one after that. But wow, Tesla, they just rugged Tesla pretty big to the downside. I mean, I don't think it was news. I think we just, like, there were so many names at the highs. Like, once a couple pulled back, you know, the NASDAQ was just bound to give a little bit of a dip. So, you know, the NASDAQ never got to 14.55 or any nonsense like that. There's a Micron. I just got into that one. I took the lesser of two bids, which was probably a good idea, but it's still going to make a strong move back into the downside. The lesser of two bids being actually at the breakout price. That way I'm not risking as much. Probably give it to like 69.30 or something, but that's an aggressive move back into the downside. Good for Vana and Amazon, not good for Dell and Micron, but at least I'm long Micron here off those highs. This should be interesting tomorrow because, you know, Micron's at a price, quite frankly, where if it holds here, you could see a nice little, that's not a dead cat bounce because it's a strong stock on the daily chart, but at least a retracement back into 71 to fill in some of that gap makes some sense to me. But if you took it first, I hope you got some profit out because we're headed back in.
Yes, sir. And good trading there. I know you're still on that Dell. We'll wait to see if that does anything. SoFi, good opportunity to get short. We thought at 98, breaking down. We just took a 93 bid, 5 cents. Let's see if it wants to continue to work on SoFi. SoFi, a good trade today. We're obviously going to be positive on this. Let's just wait to see what happens now. Hopefully, we're right at this level again. Like that's, you know, that dropped level right there, 93. So we'll take a fill there. If it can drop down, I mean, that's only 90. It's just been so strong, so there's really no levels down here. Some consolidation, maybe 80s, but you know, I don't know. The market just did flush a little bit there. So a little bit. I mean, now it's starting to go through 14.5, so that's all good right now. But yeah, we'll have to wait on it. The market is just trying to dance. So SoFi is the only position that we have, and we do have C3AI as well, as that just dropped off there too. So we could have. Yeah, again, we have 20% left. We're trying to wait to see if this one wants to go, but it's only 326 right now, and it does not look like it wants to. So maybe we waited a little bit too long on this, but we have our SoFi bids there, and if we're going to get out on SoFi, it was going to be like a 702 break, something like that, right into there. So as everything's turning lower, let's hold on to SoFi, see if we can get a little bit of a lower bid there. I'm bidding 91s, and then after that, 85s. So hopefully we get a little bit of a lower move here in SoFi. And yeah, everything trying to head to the downside right now.
Yeah, it looks like it. I trailed it just under VWAP. Actually, my stop was at 95. VWAP was technically at 97, but you know, I threw my stop at 95. I guess, you know, sometimes you can put it on that line. I tend not to. I usually pick a level underneath. That's going to be that. Dell does not hold on, so I'm just going to get out. I was only playing it up that 46 mid, so I tried it twice off 46 mid. It's the only level I could find on that stock. Micron's holding up at least a little bit, but I want to go over to Tesla if I can. So it just made a bounce. Look at exactly where it bounced here. Like this previous shot play at 207, this is where it made its bounce. So I think it might form a little bit of a bid here. I feel like we're probably short from here on the way this has gone, but there's a few names out there that could still catch a bit of a bid, and we want to give it that chance of a respect to you know, maybe bounce off some of these levels. I want to stick with Carvana. I do feel like the market going down could have helped it, but I don't think this should care what the market does. You know, so even if the market were to bounce from here, I don't know that Carvana is a squeeze play, a pure squeeze play. There's no news for Carvana why it's up 25% today. It's a pure squeeze. I just feel like it should be, if it's going to go short, it should just be a short period. But the market's starting to bounce here. I'm going to see if I can't get some Micron on the north side here as that one heads back up. With Dell going down, this is a pure sympathy play, but hey man, Micron had some things going for it on its earnings as well. So if it gets anywhere near that like 69, 60, and 70, we want to make sure we're taking some profit on the way back.
Yeah, that was a tough one. It's just always tough when it opens back up. Like you take some shots and that's all you
take
can
the
do.
shot for the home runs. Like,
Yeah,
but if it doesn't break the high, it's never going to be any good. It has to retake the high of the day.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Like, and if it doesn't do that, I've done that with Boeing often too. That one's even more frustrating.
All right, we're back in. I mean, we're in Apple. I'm going to try to go back. You guys know we're in Apple already, so that doesn't matter. We got out there at the 50, at the 200, sorry, on the 1 minute. Now we're going to see if we want to hold a little bit more here. Looking at a 5-minute chart, of course, for Google, it's pretty shitty today. Like, this is like not great. Obviously, there were some high takes there that you could have had one more time at 124.50. That would have been great. What we wrote down on the sticky note was that we wanted to buy 122s. That was a good opportunity there couple days ago, but we haven't really had anything here today. This is this morning, right, where we got to 122.60, not low enough right now. So let's just hold it out. It is coming back down. What are we long at, 22s? Yeah, so we'll hold out. That little wick that was just made there was 15s. It looks like we're going to take that out again. So if we do that, like I said, we're long Apple. We don't need to be long everything. Let's just, it's just a starter position, but again, we want to make sure that we're, I mean, we just took out the level that we were trying to support, which was the 50 period, on the 5-minute chart right there. So we already took that out at 20. So that's not good. So there's not too much support. And if you're looking at this, I guess we got to use 123 maybe as support. But, you know, the market wants to give it back right now. We saw a big sell-off yesterday at the end of the day due to the imbalances, and they're going to come out right now again. It's the first of the month, so not super concerned about it. And it's an early look coming at 3:30 into 3:45. So let's just let Google simmer out a little bit right now. We do want to take Google or Apple long if we can get it one more time. We got dropped out there at 67. Let's give it to 50s. 57, 58 right there. We just took some 90s out. So, you know, making more like that was a long right there. 72, out 65, 7 cents. We just got it back and took 20 cents, or sorry, 17 cents. Let's see if it wants to continue to work higher there. Only problem right now is Google because it's broken and it wants to go lower. So market up today, Google basically flat. So watch out. Any weakness in the market, Google probably falls. One last shot at 123, and then we'll wave the white flag.
Yeah, that's the thing. This market's at that point where if it's going to bounce, you kind of feel like it would bounce and retrace here. I was looking for Tesla for that. I'm already in Micron. I was looking for Tesla to be one that could be it. I mean, it's underneath that 208. I think the stop, like I just got out of Micron, so I'll slap the fail on that one. That also comes down. It's the shorts that are working. But I look at Tesla, and if we're going to maybe try to continue this trend, it has to be here. The early look is nothing to sell, 38 million to sell. We know it's not going to be much of anything. Yesterday was the big one, obviously, being at the end of the month. So Tesla back above that 08 level. All right, I'm going to take it. Again, I was looking for this one to maybe make a bit of a bounce play here, and it did hold the trend line pretty decently. So if it's a nice consolidation, you had a Huadunk down, so you can be risking less than $1 here, and if it gets anywhere near the high of the day, the risk to reward is sound. It's not to force it, oh, you have to have something long to balance the shorts. At this point, I just want to have something that's a fresh setup, and Tesla does give me that fresh setup. So let's just go for it. I want to give it down to that 207 quarter area. If we get some underfills, fantastic. Amazon, I haven't got any fills in front of 123.80. I'll let you know if that happens. Oh, and CVNA, Carvana, that's what I wanted to get back to Carvana. It did break 16 after like a bit of a fake out there. Looked like it was going to retest the 40s for re-entry and then slam back down. So I'm looking for the bid in the 80s. If we can get that, we'll ring the register to the downside. But I don't know, I just compounded it by adding to a long, you know, getting a long position to offset some of the shorts that are working. And that's always the way to go, right?
Yeah, same thing happened to me. Like we just lost on Google there because it took 123, which we probably shouldn't have been in anyways. But look what we're banking on, of course. SoFi, you know, made this move to the downside, and I really feel like, honestly, the more we sit here, the more we talk about all of our trades and everything, the more we figure it all out. But it's like Google's not really in play today, right? So probably should have left it alone and just looked at names that were in play, like a SoFi right now, and there it is. Follow through on this move down for SoFi right there. So that's going to be a good one. Starting to go lower and lower and lower right now goes SoFi. So there it is. Nice move to the downside on this name. Continues to crack lower, and that's a good break, man. Break VWAP, break everything. Hit the long, now hit the short. So we'll go basically 2 for 2 on SoFi, but we still have 70% of that trade. So we got to get out of more of SoFi, especially on this move down. NVIDIA, though, that 400 take was so good. It wicked there again.
I have nightmares over that one.
Yeah, and then now it's right back. So, wow. Right back to the downside there. We just had a wick top of 400 again right there. Just a bunch of, like, missteps here. That's all that really happened on NVIDIA. Just tried to wait for the home run, and I thought it would be long off, you know, to the upside, and it looks like the home run is to the downside there. About $4 or so downside movement on SoFi. So, good move there. We're going to wait. Apple's getting close to again. We're long at 7. We're long right here at 70. It looks like it wants to continue to move down. The minute that market turned there, pretty dramatically, man. And there's the downside move, and we're caught. So it's going to be a losing day here.
Bitcoin made a big move too.
Yeah, there it is. So we're out of Apple. So big moves to the downside just continue. Sucks, man, because we had done well. We were really short Apple, as you guys know. But downside move, we should just be reversing everything right now.
So, I mean, Bitcoin made a bit of a turn. Coinbase is now down. I like this one short. I did. But it never got to the price that I would have taken it. So the rollover, it can happen. It has to trade at a price I like. So I'm just going to go back to, I'm sitting in 2 shorts. I decided I wanted to take a long trend trade. That ends up being wrong. And who said it? P. Anthony. Yeah, I felt like I could say, like, trying that long in, like, Dell was in place, and that's a news-based play. It's a kind of a news-based setup. I'd probably take that most times. But it's a little different trying to catch the bid on Tesla when you've been looking for a curl in the market underneath that key level in the futures. And what the heck? Oh, I got a bad wick on my 15. That's why that looks terrible. But yeah, like the futures got up to that resistance point. They had a curl. It's like, okay, well, I like the level that Amazon was at. I like CVNA short there for different reasons because it failed 17. I could have just stuck with only doing that. And that would have been a heck of a lot easier. I mean, you see across the board, like Microsoft, what's Microsoft doing? And again, these are just going to follow the market. So you just kind of pick your poison, find your short trade, and get in, get out. Like it's, take your shot. Like that was a good consolidation. That ends up working out for you if you happen to take that. The risk to reward did favor it. I was probably in a bit early on Dell, and maybe Amazon, and maybe we don't get back into VWAP, but it's starting to curl in now. We got the early look at, oh, sorry, correction. This is my bad. Brennan put a correction in. It's actually $738 million to sell. So correction on that. Brennan put that in. I said 38 because it was in there, but I just didn't notice. He corrected that for us. So it's a decent size sell imbalance. I don't know that that would have changed my mind on anything that I was doing. Maybe a less aggressive getting some shares out at previous resistance on Amazon, but it doesn't matter. Now it's starting to flush into the downside a little bit heavier. So the market wants down. That's just how it is. What's Meta doing? Probably heading to the downside as well. It is one of these afternoons. Straight up, looking like you could be a 2% day. We got 1/2. Now we're right back to 1. It's going to be an interesting Friday. I just saw Prad walk onto the stage, and I feel like he'll be happy with a free fall Friday. The way that this has turned around, it would not surprise me. He just gave the thumbs up.
I mean, Prad is, I don't know, are you working the board or trading tomorrow?
Oh, he's on the board.
There you go.
Okay.
So he wants a rip on Friday, of course, because he has his long-term account.
Well, we usually want a rip in general.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, a lot of people play short side. So, all right. We just got into Amazon because it's broken through this level right here. So let's see if it wants to continue to move down. We'll play it off 123. Everything's sloping down right now on Amazon. So, should be the one there, but it's up 1.78%. So again, it's like one of these things where do you want to like trade the weakest name or the strongest name or whatever? We're going to wait for 122.90 to see if it comes back and then just try to use some of these levels on Amazon. You're starting to break down right now again. That's the 50 period rate here at 122.78. So that's part of why we take this short. Let's see if it wants to work. We're a little bit late. Obviously, Neil has a much better price, but we'll wait to see. Oh, wow. AMD also back to 120. Everything is trying to go. Everything's trying to turn down now. So let's just wait.
Turn down for what?
Apple, yeah, turned down for what? Yeah, exactly. We'll take short on Google as well. And just to see, man, a little bit of a break. I mean, does the market want to see 14.4 here? We still have 50 more points before that. It's a nice straight move down of 80 points to the downside. It's 337 right now. So there it is. We take some more short on Google. Let's see if it wants to go now. We'll take a piece out at 96. Like, again, try to just make a little bit of money back on what we've lost on some of those longs heading into this number. I mean, Apple's completely falling down. Apple's the worst name out of them all because, we were short, it broke higher.
180.
It's fine. Like, I'm not really, like, we're not down much on it other than we broke that level right there. So that sucks, but, it's fine. It's just look at this move down. It's just happening now when it should be happening earlier for us, but that's okay.
I'm only frustrated because I reversed out of the long. I was able to get a fill at 93, which meant that could have been that's a wick top, get back into the short. That's the only, because that execution was there, and then it came again to 180. That's the only reason I'm mad at myself. Other than that, it's like, whatever. It is what it is, and you got to be able to say it. Amazon, I just got to fill 122.50, so that one's going to head to the downside. Let's go.
Let's go,
We'll
man.
hit
We're
something
banking
else
on
there.
that one.
So we're finally able to bank out. I mean, it's been the shorts. It is what it is. Carvana obviously coming down. I'm guessing pretty much everything. You pick your poison. The shorts are printing right now, whether it's Google, Amazon. I'm going to assume Meta's
SoFi.
making a move. SoFi going down. Meta's down $2.50 from its high. Like everything is turning as the NASDAQ decides it wants to crap all over itself to end the day. NVIDIA, I haven't checked. I'm assuming, yeah, NVIDIA back down at 95. Oh, my goodness. I didn't make the top wick, but I wasn't that far away from the... Yeah, I wasn't that far away from making the top wick on that 400 short. It's again, like just, you got to have an out. You really have to have an out. It's just frustrating to lose on that short and see it at 395, but you got to have yourself an out at some point. Otherwise, you just run over all day sometimes. What if we ended up at 2%? Then an NVIDIA short holding it too far obviously can ruin your day.
Yeah, I mean, I had all those trades as well. I have a buy of NVIDIA probably at 400 and something. Anyways, okay, it doesn't matter as we go. We're going to look at my current trades right now, and we've just been getting some more out. All we're trying to do is, I mean, I want to hold and for this, hopefully this move down off any of these imbalances, 738 to sell. But there it is. We just reloaded. Again, you know, Google's going to be a fine name for us. It's just, we're going long, we got out, there it is, and now we just re-engage in the short. It bumped up a little bit. Now let's play the short, a couple outs in the 90s, and here we go again. Nice downside push there for that. And then honestly, man, this is going to be a big one here because Amazon now well in the money, and we reloaded. We didn't reload. We took this one pretty aggressively too, right there once we broke. And again, just breaking those levels. We wanted to find a stock that was at something key, and we found it. It's Amazon, so that's what we turned over to. SoFi, again, man, like, look at this. I mean, this should be an NFT here, going long. The only problem is that little take right there. But that's okay. That was, you know, not a lot of shares, but there it is. From long, flipped into the short. So we watch VWAP the whole day. We start to break everything else. We barcode, and then it was see you later to the bottom of that trade for SoFi. Let's just hold on to it and see where it goes from now. And we only have now 9 minutes.
8. Well, 9 minutes, you're right.
9, yeah, 9 minutes until the imbalances. And if you guys are anywhere in this world except for Toronto, Ontario, even if you are here and you're wondering what the delay is on YouTube, well, it's 3:40. This is what we're doing, sitting right here right now. 3:41:08. 09 and 3:41:10. So that's the quotes that we're looking at. So if you have something a little bit different, maybe because you're behind a little bit, but that's what we're doing right now, 3:41:20 to timestamp us with you. So there it is. Amazon continues to make lowers, you know, bigger move here to the downside. I'm going to put another bid out. Let's get it. We just got 43s. Now let's see if it wants to fade out. Support obviously down here at VWAP, so we'll put another bid at 122.10.
Yeah, I mean, 122 to me is going to be, that's the spot, but the NASDAQ just keeps on crushing itself. And if you look at it, we're now through that afternoon support. I mean, barely. It's not like convincingly through on the futures because like 5 handles is not a big deal. It probably has to go at least another 10 down, and you're like, okay, we're through it, and we can start thinking about this filling in a bigger gap. But if we end up holding here into the imbalances, then you could see a mini bounce, especially if that sell imbalance gets paired off pretty early. Ray saying AVGO lost 50% in China sales. Look, Broadcom, and it's a stock that usually, we're not going to usually trade this just based on how expensive it is. As a day trader, you don't usually look at it, but it's been a little bit wild the last while. Like this has been nuts, like 620 to 920 to back to 800 to reporting tonight. I think it kind of deserves a little bit of attention. I suppose the way to go with this is to look at options for it. But I mean, this stock doesn't do this. So I know there should be a lot of eyeballs on this. And if the report is bad, this was just at $600. So it still has 20% that it could retrace. It has 20% that it could go up. It's worthwhile watching. A little bit of a bounce here in Carvana. I don't know that I want to jump back in and fade some more. But if it sets up and gives another little spike, I might go for a curl off 1625 and then add to it and see if we can get back down into VWAP. But we're running out of time for that kind of nuance, right? It's 3:43. We're day trading. We have to be out by the end of the day. So 4 o'clock, all trades done, no new trades on. And then we kind of, everything is finished and we rinse and repeat tomorrow. So you run out of time to put on new trades as we get closer to 4.
Okay, so... Yeah, what's up?
Not the
SoFi
market.
still down near the bottom. Amazon, we're already out of a decent percentage of it. I don't even know how many shares we had to begin with, but we just got a bunch of outs down here, like 4 or 5 outs, all at 40s and whatnot, as it looks like now it's trying to bounce back up, right? So take as many shares out as you possibly can, and then we'll wait to see, where it goes from here. But 122.78 or so is where we're in. Google doesn't really want to do anything. Thank you so much, Crypto Gangsta. Great show. Thank you so much. And have yourself a great night. Lots of earnings coming, obviously, today. So should be an exciting one.
Yes.
Amazon making a move back up. I'm going to take a 57 out again. We have, a little bit. Neil and I often will have different share sizes, different ideas. So as we're both in the same name, take that for what it's worth, okay? Because trade your own book always and forever. All right, so there's Google. Made a move back up. We are bouncing a little bit here. If we zoom out a little bit, some nice consolidation down there. Coincides with this, but I feel like that's just data mining. Like, I don't know, like there's nothing really between 14.430 and 14.440. I don't know. But that's, if there's any sort of a move, maybe down here where we saw a top at 14.340 and then 14.350. So into here could be where we go. I still think we could retrace all the way to VWAP. Let's see what happens with this number. It's 345 right now or so. I was doing the countdown. It's 344.57 right now, so 345 right now. But yeah, just dice downside move there on the NASDAQ. Probably holds. But we'll wait to see. I'd like to see it retest one more time. That's why we just started to get out of everything, right? Like Google, look at all these outs down here. Now we don't have many shares left. So if it does make this move up, we're just putting some money back in our pockets after some of those plays. And look at that Amazon call that we just made, right? Getting some out at 57, now it's 67. So if you like the short, you can reload it. If not, you don't have to worry about it. So getting the majority of these stocks out when these levels are hit are very, very important. We only have 30% left of SoFi as an example.
Yeah, I'm down only Amazon. With 4 minutes to go till the imbalances come out there, a couple of things. I did get some out that 1580. I tried that curl at the quarter. It then immediately took out the previous lower high, so I just jumped out of it. There's not much time left in the day. And a note, as you were saying there, Sean, sometimes YouTube has a delay, but if you sometimes refresh, hit the live button, it then refreshes you to as current as it can be. I found that helps. Mine will lag like 20 or 30 seconds sometimes, and then you can always do that. I'm looking at you, NVIDIA. This one, I think it's a bit of a litmus because it's bouncing a bit better than the market. I'm very curious to see if it has a late day rally in it because that 400 level, I'm going to come in tomorrow thinking about 2 things on NVIDIA, 400 and 1 trillion. 1 trillion somewhere between 405, 406. I'm sure someone can do the math out there and tell me exactly what it is. But those are the 2 levels I want to watch. Bungled around at the 400 level today. Quite frankly, it could have been clean trading, breaking out 98 to 400 and then maybe just shorting 400 and giving it more room. I did not trade it clean, but I think this is one tomorrow. Maybe a little bit more laser focus on those key levels can work out for us. And wow, someone just said Meta in the chat there, Max. Meta all the way back in, but everything came back in to VWAP. So it's not like everything had like 8 consecutive red candles on it. This is not a Meta thing. This was the NASDAQ giving it back up and pulling back 70 handles on the NQ. ES as well, but we tend to focus on the NASDAQ here. So yeah, I don't think I put anything on unless it's after 350 at this point. I will trail Amazon out. I like that 122.80 level from before, so we'll give it back into that one on AMZN and then just see where it can go. It doesn't look like it wants VWAP just yet, but I'll give it back up to at least this area here, and we'll put a trailing stop.
Yeah, we just we're gonna wait a little bit here. Looking at this Google trade. Okay, here it goes. I'm trying to hold out. Like I'm not going to let it break this 20. So if it does want to go up, then we're gonna get out. If it does, and it looks like it wants to right now, break this 20. And this is the thing. It's like it's. Oh man, I think you just need longer time frames right now. Like that market move off that bottom, off that top was pretty dramatic, right? This is really the first pullback that we've seen, I feel like, in a long time, like a serious one. And it was only 100 NASDAQ points. It's not that big. It's not even that bad. Like the NASDAQ is still well up, and there's the pullback in, and now it's just like going, Google got stopped out. Okay, so just going right back. See, so just going right back up to the upside right now. So I think like the best thing to do, maybe lower your shares and just wait to see if you can't get a better fill somewhere. Because for right now, stocks seem to be just sort of bouncing back and forth. We will wait for the imbalance to come out, but for right now, it's just Amazon short and SoFi short, and we got stopped out of that Google. But Google's like, why is it so aggressive? Right back up to the upside right there. So
that's like
VWAP up still 31. I don't know. We're getting close. We could take some shares now, but that's a big move with only a minute and a half left before imbalances.
Ooh, actually, I just realized I had an order out on Carvana that I just canceled. I just got in and out of Carvana for like 2-cent loss, but imbalances in less than 1 minute. Gonna have them up for you guys. Again, I'm just in one position here. The early look on the MOC, to answer your question, jack of all trades, was 738 million to sell. Maybe we have a push down. I don't know if we have a bigger push down. Apple actually caught a bid. So the other thing to watch for tomorrow is going to be Apple 180. I think that goes without saying, but we'll say it anyways. So we'll see. I don't expect to see gigantic imbalances, but I mean 738 to start. It's going to pale in comparison to yesterday at the end of the month, but it is pretty decently significant. So I'll be watching Amazon, Apple, NVIDIA, the three stocks I care about, Tesla to a certain extent. And after the bell, I mean AVGO, I don't think I traded, but I think that's going to be insane.
It's going to be nuts.
I just there's stocks that you expect to make moves like that. Broadcom was never one of them. So seeing what it's done in the last week, I'm very interested to see what happens in those earnings. And of course, the squeeze names will still be in play for us.
Okay, so here we go. It's going to be Google. That's really the only stock that we're on right now. We're just short right here at 25. Never a good idea to be short into these imbalances, but we got a good quadrunk yesterday. And there it goes a little bit again today. I don't know what the number is. It just went down into the teens. We didn't get any
Apple,
fills.
2.7 million to sell.
Okay.
Shopify, 2.9 million to sell. Pinterest, 1.5 million to sell.
Okay, Google's a sell.
Intel's a buy of $1 million and Ford's a buy of $1 million. Google is 860,000
sell.
sell.
But it's not doing anything.
Amazon, I just saw Amazon in there, sell for 800. It's got to be a big sell. It's only 641 to sell.
No, that's not right. He's going to give us an update here. Oh, no, 641 to sell. Yeah, okay, that's right. Yeah, I thought it would have been bigger.
I thought it'd be bigger with Apple,
bigger as
Intel.
Well.
I mean,
okay, well, we get a pullback at least in Amazon, so we'll take some of that bit out right there on Amazon, as that at least is pulling back. And unfortunately, I mean, not unfortunately, we got good fills on Google, but our average price was 26 or 26, and the fills we got, man, 20s, and we got something at 16 or 17. So hopefully you can see, it just keeps on bouncing. It's, honestly, Google, come on, man. So this will probably wants to go back up, so I don't know. We'll put a bit at 19, and then I'm waiting at 10s and so on and so forth. Maybe it falls, maybe it doesn't, but probably just with our luck today with some of these tech names here at close, probably not going to go down anymore. Like, we get the imbalance right on Google. It's $1 million to sell, and it still doesn't even want to go down. So there it is. We're going to wait to see 123.35. We're going to take that out. The best we got on this trade was, like I just told you, 7 cents. So our out, unfortunately, is going to be 10 cents. And there it is, 123.35 on Google. We're going to get out of it. But yeah, exciting day, man. Exciting day. I mean, so many things happening. Apple today, really an interesting name. Obviously going to close near that 180 marker, and up and down. Wow, that went as low as 179.20 there. Like,
that short was.
Give me a break. That was huge off that break. And then the same thing with NVIDIA as well, as that one was huge off the break of 400, but the other way. So just as we were saying, like, hey, maybe playing breaks is back in. Yeah, it's back in the other way. To the other side. So, yeah, okay. Let's just wait to see what happens here. It's 3:52. We're into the close. It's a big day today for the NASDAQ, up another 1%. So congratulations to everybody, man.
That's a good point.
SoFi's good. Everything's good.
That's a very good point, is the fact that the market is still up today. Like, it's been an upward trending day. I know it feels bad when we don't hold those gains, but it is what it is. I'm probably going to get trailed out of Amazon pretty quickly. And thank you for the super chat, Rory. Is there a Trader TV store I can buy a Huadunk hoodie? We do have merch. You can check it out on YouTube, but there is not a Huadunk hoodie. We'd have to agree on some spelling of that, to be honest. It's spelled kind of ridiculously because everyone has a different spelling for it. We don't ask anything of you guys, just that you enjoy the show, hopefully learn something, and hit the like.
Yeah.
Make sure you do this.
Hola, like and subscribe today.
I don't know what our like
and
count
get the
is
vibes. I'm going to say it's 700 and
yeah.
I was 747 because for some reason I had Boeing on my mind. 703. 703. So it looks like Kat can't ring the bell again because we didn't get to 1,000. She'll be disappointed. Yanni might be able to do it. I have no idea. But without 1,000 likes, then she doesn't get out of her seat. That's how she rolls.
It's not worth
She's
it.
working so hard that Kat hasn't even eaten her lunch. And we can't like the show.
Well,
okay.
she came in at noon, so.
I was trying to.
She got a lot of work to do. Get going,
she's
Kat.
catching up. She's catching
You know what? She never eats her lunch, man.
It's
seems
very
like-
true.
No, but every time there's always some food. Neil
You should
always-
make sure you eat.
No, I don't mean you're not eating your lunch, period. It's always at this time, you're always looking back. Remember she had that egg croissant or whatever that egg sandwich was?
Yo, that looked delicious, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
That was like the greatest looking egg salad sandwich I've ever
Of all
seen in my
time,
life.
yep.
And then she told me the place, and I still haven't gone there, but it is what it is. I like food. You guys
That's okay. All right, so let's see if we get a last second bump here in C3AI. I just put an offer at 35.40, so right into here. Maybe we can, maybe we can't get that bid, but we're gonna wait to see.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Let's be positive. Yes, we can get that bid. Right there, we'll try. And then Amazon, good trade. We'll be positive on this today, but you know it would have been nicer to continue that move through 40, but didn't happen. So there's the one. We only traded it once, right? No, into there, right? So yeah, so we're positive today on Amazon, and there it is right there. Nice trade at the end of the day, breaking the level, and this one didn't really retrace at all. I mean, nice move, but didn't go back upside. So we'll watch out for that coming through very soon. But yeah, we're almost there, man. 5 more minutes, and we see a possible reversal in some of these imbalances.
I think we're headed back down. So keep in mind, we always say this, all those big imbalances you saw at 355, it's a major pairing event in the market. Ooh, I just got trailed out of Amazon. It must have flipped.
Yeah.
But that's before 355. So I got trailed out of Amazon there. It's a good one. We'll ring the register, but I thought that would be at 355. Shopify, it's 355. Did it update? It looks like Shopify stayed. Most of the other names that were big are now gone and paired off. So whatever, I mean, RC, I guess, up there, who cares about that? Shop's the big one that managed to stay. SoFi is a bid of 500,000, but everything else looks like it paired off there. All the big names have paired off. So Amazon's now a bid of 270. That would explain why I got that wick. I always usually have a 99% of the time I will put a trailing stop in before 355, just because you get reversals in the market oftentimes there. So the trend just got broken. I'm now out of Amazon. Out of morbid curiosity, because you don't always see super large imbalances on Shopify, I'm just going to have a quick look at it. I didn't pull it up when the sell imbalance came out. Shopify, you know what, it was already heading down, but actually bouncing here. So it stays a big sell and catches a bid. Go figure. So the imbalances don't always mean it has to go in that direction. A little surprising there.
I want to check out Apple.
It's probably a
quickly.
sell in Toronto.
Look what Apple did. It just went
buying
right back to 180. So Apple now right at 180 again. Like
It's glued to that
this
level.
is just boom, 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 boom. Like what a wild afternoon.
I mean, it's
man.
Friday tomorrow, too. So.
Very, very difficult to make money unless you're going to hold it for just a longer period. And then when you hold it, it's like if you hold the long on Apple, I mean, where do you get out? Like it just dripped all the way to 179.20 there. So like if you're long, you're thinking to yourself, what have I done? And then boom, 10 minutes later, or maybe a little bit more than that, 20 minutes later, you're all the way back to that key level, back to the high of the day. Like Apple's at the high of the day and the NASDAQ is nowhere near the high of the day. So
it's going to want
give
that
yourself,
180.
check tomorrow on Apple at that 180. It seems like, man, it is just full speed ahead on AAPL. So we'll watch out for them tomorrow, taking out everything and taking names at the same time. So Apple taking out some key levels. We like those levels that Apple's at right now. So hopefully tomorrow something will come from that. Yeah.
I think I take a shot at that break. If the break of 180 is available again tomorrow, I probably take it. They rugged us this time, but it's right back up at the high with the market bouncing down. I'm going to probably like it for some strength. Like it was a good short, but it's like that Palantir. I'll just take the shot. I mean, I know it was a losing reversal today. That doesn't necessarily mean it'll be bad if we see it again tomorrow. But it has to set up there, right? I mean, it could gap above. It could be a 178. It could be a 182 tomorrow morning. Probably not 182. It'll be within $1 of this, but you could see in either direction. Neo holding, of course Neo's holding. Oh, the other thing that broke higher, I'm shocked by this, but guess what? Lucid made it to VWAP after all.
Really?
So Lucid of all things actually got to VWAP. If you're looking for, sometimes when you're looking for trades, I completely wrote this one off, but this getting to 660 and showing you a bounce into VWAP, that is really not a bad setup. We talk about kind of waiting for those really good opportunities. This coming right in here to 660 where it failed before and giving you an opportunity to short it at 658. It's kind of like right where we stopped out of SoFi, you reversed. I'm glad you reversed. I didn't because it was a perfect entry. Same thing here. Got to the obvious level and was a good reversal. The earnings board is ready. I know exactly which one I'm interested in, Brennan.
I'm interested in Dell. I can't wait to see what those numbers are.
I have no idea what those numbers could be.
That's hilarious.
No idea. But Broadcom, that's going to move tomorrow. If it does not move more than 10%, then I'm a monkey's uncle. Lululemon, more of a long-term play. I kind of hope it tanks so I can get in.
Yeah, Sana, I think. I mean, some big names there. Yunji, of course, before the open, and another big one.
Of course.
And then Zscaler. We saw CrowdStrike and Palo Alto, a couple good names there coming into play. Wow, Apple all the way back. Oh, we'll end the trade with a bang, end the day with a bang. We only have a minute left. I mean, there it is, $4.20. We take the out on C3 AI at 85, right there. You know, we tried, we waited. You know, we did have a big trade on this one, long down there, all the way. So it was a good trade there. But, you know, ending the day on a negative note because obviously Google and Apple just kind of was back and forth there. We did not trade those very well to end the day. But we got some money back on Amazon. And then, of course, you guys all know about SoFi. And that was a good trade to end the day right there on SoFi. So good end there. But again, messed up on Apple and on
NVIDIA for me was Apple.
Yeah, NVIDIA was bad in Apple.
That was a frustrating one. I don't know. Like it's sometimes if you only stick with the one direction.
Yep.
You know, I knew you like the 400. Just kind of stick with the 400 there. Cat's on the bell because we got to 1,000. Thank you very much. So she's here. Plumbing is fixed. 4, 3, 2, and
1. Thank you, Miss Cat. And there it is.
Profiling.
We are done. Oh, I got to cancel all my pending
orders.
stop order on SoFi as that goes. So
I had an Amazon stop that I obviously didn't need.
Yeah, good thing. Well, the market finished where it finished. Yeah, good game, everybody, today. Wow, that felt much like a game today. So, all right, let's go over to Brendan. I mean, wow, it's only 4 o'clock. Lots of earnings coming here today. We had a lot of earnings today, and we have a lot tomorrow coming tonight, and then Yunji tomorrow morning. Let's see how this all affects everything. Let's go over to Brendan and see how we wound up on the broader market.
I don't know what Yunji is.
I don't even know the symbol.
We started off very, very red, if you remember, right across the entire board. We end the day very, very green. So a nice turnaround for all of these. 1.28 there for the composite, 1.31 for the NASDAQ 100. Leading the way as they did all day long. Nice bounce back for the banks. If you remember on that sector board all day long, it was financials that were leading as far as this rally is concerned. A lot of the regional banks in the Russell 2000, 0.5% there for the Dow, 1% for the S&P, guys.
I actually don't remember that it was financials that are up. So I'm glad that I shuffled from Morgan Stanley into TD Bank to have it mean absolutely nothing. Nothing's out yet that we're paying attention to, I don't think. Oh, but last thing, it's game 1 tonight.
Yes.
So I think Nuggets are going to win by double digits. I think Nuggets are going to win in 5.
Yep.
What do you think?
I think Nuggets in 4. I think there could be a sweep. So.
Yeah.
I mean, so we have a little bit of negative news here to share with everybody, and obviously, I'll probably get emotional, but that's just because I'm Italian and it is what it is. But I was able to meet Playmaker in Miami, and he took his time. Like, I am gonna be sad here, but you know, he took his time out of his day to come and see me at the hotel, and it was a great experience for me because it was really one of the first traders and fans of the show that I was able to meet. Playmaker has since sent all of us gifts, and you know, to be forgotten, unfortunately. Go to my screen again, where I'm not done this yet. Can we go back to my screen, please? So right here, you know, this is right from Facebook. We had heard this sort of news yesterday. I want to thank all the viewers and all the traders as well, but unfortunately, he passed away, and he's only 50 years old, so it's really, really sad, and told you I'd get emotional. The guy's a family man. He has kids and everything, so it's really sad to battle. It's all in here, and it's just sad time, but he passed away with his family, so shout out to Playmaker, you'll always be remembered. So
I want to quote him because he sent something that and he said to share it, and so I'm just going to read it. These are his words because he sent us all gifts. And I said something along the lines of, you know, you don't have to. That was very kind. And this is the exact response word for it. I know I don't have to, but I want to, so accept it. I really appreciate people at this stage in my life, at 50 years old. I love you guys. F money. Look at Steve Jobs. Money couldn't save him. It's not everything, but to me, it's about relationships, not the Benjamins. It's about appreciating people like everybody in the community and the show. And he said, I dare you to post this on the channel. I think you should. And, you know, there's certain types of people in this world that are they're just good. And there's more good people than bad. We have a great community, and we've lost one of the best. Rest in peace, Playmaker.
All right. Yeah, so we wanted to do that at the end of the day, of course, because he's meant a lot to us, and will be missed, obviously, in our chat. And, you know, so, yeah, rest in peace, Mr. Playmaker. So. All right, you know, now I just hope that Dallas wins the Super Bowl. You know, he's going to go there.
Let's all meet up in Dallas when they win the Super Bowl for him.
That'd be awesome. Okay, I mean, they have to beat the Packers first, so I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But all right, let's go. It's 4:04. No, nothing hit yet, I don't think, Brendo. No. Probably not. Okay. All right. So unfortunately, that's a sad note. But hey, man, you know, we're going to come back here tomorrow and you know, give someone you love a big hug at night, or give everybody you see big hugs. And we will be back tomorrow. So again, thank you so much to everybody today. Kat, Fabian, Alfredo, Prad, Brendan, everybody, Sharif. Who else? Max, thank you for filling in for me today. I'll be back on that midday show tomorrow. But for everybody here at Trader TV Live, we want to say thank you so much for watching, and please come back tomorrow, 8:30. Ciao, everybody.